Comcast Sports presents the 2007 New Jersey Interscholastic Athletic Association football tournament. Tonight, it's the quarterfinals of South Jersey Group 2 here from the campus of West Deptford High School in West Deptford, New Jersey. It's the Delran Bears visiting the West Deptford Eagles. I'm Mike Shute, joined by Shawn Leary here in the booth. And Shawn, tonight, a first-round matchup in South Jersey Group 2, a team that's certainly no stranger to Group 2 playoffs, with the West Deptford Eagles hosting the Delran Bears.
Now, this is one of the teams that's been one of the contenders in Group 2 over the last 5 or 6 years under the tutelage of Clyde Folsom, who has done a fantastic job with this program. And Delran, who's no stranger at all to South Jersey playoffs as well. They, in the late 80s, early 90s, pretty much one of the dominant teams in South Jersey. There you take a look at Clyde Folsom, what a job he's done this year. Having probably one of his more fun years because he's doing a lot of coaching. You just throw a bunch of good athletes out on the field now and expect them to win games. Always has been a terrific coach and well respected among the South Jersey community there. You see him 7-1 this season, although they graduated about 12 to 13 seniors last year. An outstanding program, has been on the rise at the second half of this season, playing probably its best football right now. Over the years, of course, West Deptford has been dominant. They won the Group 2 in 2002, 2003, 2004 with undefeated seasons in 03 and 04. And of course, now have won the Colonial Conference Liberty Division 7 straight times. A couple of years they shared that title, but 7 straight years they've been won at least to share that title, including this year, Shawn, going 5-0 in Liberty. The definition of dominance right now with the West Deptford program in the conference, in the league, being able to just dispel anybody of trying to think that they have a chance of winning that division. Again, one of the top programs in South Jersey, certainly in Group 2. Senior quarterback Jeremy Hackney's first pass on the first play from scrimmage after a short delay is a screen over to the far side, and Delran snuffs that out. It'll be a loss of about 3, so it'll bring up 2nd and 13. Yeah, that looked like that was John Shears who made that tackle. Doing a nice job of coming up on the play and negating any type of room. Shears a 6 foot, 165-pound senior. Hackney back under center. This is Ken Thomasitis, the 5'8", 155-pound sophomore, breaking through for a big pickup. Picks up about 9. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. Nice hard run that time by Thomasitis. Like you said, he's not very big, but certainly will try and run somebody over if they get into his way. Now this brings up an interesting play call here on 3rd down. You expect probably Hackney to go to the air. We'll see if Clyde Folsom tries to roll him out to buy some more time. And in motion for West Deptford, coming towards the near side as Hackney rolls near side. Quick sprint out to the near sideline. They're going to say incomplete as the receiver made the catch but was out of bounds. So a nice play call for West Deptford, Shawn, but just couldn't convert as the pass was intended for the tight end, Dan Batdorf. Batdorf, a 6'1", 190-pound senior, one of the captains for this West Deptford team. He was honored last week by the touchdown club, and real tough tight end who will go out and try and haul in a couple of catches. Nice pass that time by Hackney. He put the ball in the numbers, but in coverage, that looked like that was Taj Loving there, 6'2", 175, a senior, doing a nice job of negating any type of catch there, forcing a 3 and out. West Deptford, the punt. It's a good spiral, a fair catch called for back at the 27-yard line. That called for back there by Jim McHugh. He's a captain for this Delran team. We'll talk a little bit about Delran. They are 4-3, the Bears. They started off with 2 straight wins, then a tough loss to Bishop Eustace by a point. Came back to beat Florence to go to 3-1. Then they got absolutely shellacked by Camden Catholic and Holy Cross, losing those 2 games by 49-12 and 45-14 before lighting up Maple Shade last week. A win they needed, Shawn, to qualify for the postseason. Right, but that was Cross and Camden Catholic, which is 2 outstanding programs, and it's no shame into losing to either one of those teams. 1st and 10 for Delran. They have it back at the 27. Handoff goes up the middle. Looks like Will Murray will pick up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. The quarterback for Delran.
number 7, Max Larson. There's the head coach for Delran. That's Pete Miles.
Yeah, good coach. He's been around for a long time, since '82. He's been an assistant coach, 81, 82. He was an assistant coach, took over, I think it was 91, right around that time. Helped as an assistant coach to a couple of South Jersey championships. Won one on his own as a head coach. And a guy who is from North Jersey, went to Rowan University. At that time, it was Glassboro State. And has done an outstanding job during his tenure here with some pretty good football teams, some pretty good players. You remember back at the time, the heyday of Delran, you had the Sacker brothers, the Parker brothers, Bill Duff, who was a tough lineman, who was a 2-time wrestling state champion, so some pretty good athletes come out of Delran High School. Some guys who have gone on to play good Division I college football and then into the NFL as well.
2nd and 7, the pitch out goes to Will Murray, the 6-foot, 185-pound senior, also a captain for this Delran team. He picks up about 5. We'll have a 3rd and 2 here for Delran. See how West Deptford's defense responds this season. They've allowed just 73 points for an average of 9.1 points per game against the West Deptford defense. Has allowed just 73 points against in 2007. But 33 came in 1 loss, Shawn, against Audubon. So really in those 7 wins, they've allowed just 40 points, or an average of 5.7 per game. Larson back to pass, fires over the middle, incomplete as he had a man open. It was Tim Frederick, the junior fullback, coming out of the backfield. Couldn't hang on, and it'll be a punting situation for Delran. So each team's defense holds 3 and out, Shawn.
Caught Kadeem Hall deep in coverage, and they were looking right over the middle with Frederick, and Larson put the ball pretty much right on the numbers. Larson is a guy who will not be afraid to be into that backfield and try and pass the ball. They will try and pass as much as they will run. You'll see that as the night goes.
Larson, who is the quarterback, also punting for this Delran team.
He does a lot, yeah.
Gets a good one off as it'll trickle down inside the 35, down to the 32. And that's where West Deptford will take over on their 2nd possession of tonight's ball game. Here in the South Jersey Group 2 quarterfinals, 1st round matchup. As again, West Deptford has just dominated over the years. You see here's the numbers on the season for West Deptford. They've put a lot of points on the board and not allowed many. And as we said, they gave up 33 in that one game, so that 73 is even a little deceiving.
That's right, 33 in the one game to Rizzo, who's a pretty darn good quarterback. They face a pretty good one tonight from Larson. Something that probably concerned Coach Folsom a little bit, than Delran being able to throw over the top.
Handoff goes to Kadeem Hall. Hall will pick up about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Kadeem Hall's 5'10", 165. He's a junior, good speed. There you see Delran, 142 points against the 162. Sort of deceiving there as well, as look at their defense, not indicated by the number there. 49 and 45 put up with Camden Catholic and Holy Cross. Camden Catholic, they haven't beaten about 4 or 5 years. Holy Cross, they haven't beaten in recent memory. 2 big-time programs, probably on the next level. Not really fair to compare them with Delran. Doesn't draw as many people, kids, as both of those schools do.
2nd and 9, it's Hall again around the corner, picking up 1st down yardage across the 45, out to the 47, 48. Now the official says 49-yard line, so you're going to give him 14 there, a big pickup, and we have our first down of the game for either team.
And Hall's able to get to the outside, and that's what he does extremely well. They needed that. Losing Jimmy Owens, a guy who was a big-time back, one of the better backs in South Jersey. Amazing speed, a home run hitter who's going to be able to probably take it to the house once or twice during a game. And now you have Hall who comes in and gives him a little bit of a spurt to the outside. He's needed in a game as big as this.
Now running inside, trying to slash his way through for some yardage was Temasitis. Picked up about 2, got to the Delran side of the field, and it'll be 2nd and about 8. You know, you talk about this Delran defense, Shawn, and we talked about the two big numbers they go up to Holy Cross and Camden Catholic being outscored 94-26 in those previous 2 losses. But then Delran came back last week with a good defensive effort, winning 34-6 against Maple Shade. In the game, they only gave up 116 yards of total offense, and just 15 of those were on the ground. So, maybe they're somewhere in between, Shawn, and that's what I guess West Deptford's going to try and find out tonight. What's the real Delran defense?
You're exactly right. I mean, that's the Delran defense is somewhere in between that, because you're looking at Maple Shade overmatched, not as powerful nearly as this West Deptford offense, but Camden Catholic again can only cross just on another playing field altogether.
Hackney getting on a sprint out to his left, but Delran sniffs that one out as a swarm of tacklers come in, including Anthony Yanarella, the junior defensive end, number 64, joined by a host of tacklers in there, along with Tim Frederick, number 37, the defensive tackle. You see him there on the left of your screen.
There's Tamarella. Also, you see in there Wojciechowski, number 11, who's got good size in the middle of that defense. And these are some big kids. You know, down there on that field, it's hard to get a really good indication of how big these kids are from your television screen, but standing next to a couple of them, some kids with great size indicated by the roster.
So after a loss of 7, it's third and about 15 for West Deptford, and officials will stop play for a moment. As action is just underway here in the South Jersey Group 2 first-round matchup in the NJSIAA high school football tournament. And they restart the clock now. We'll have 3rd and 15. 3rd and 14 we'll call it, actually, for the West Deptford Eagles. Jeremy Hackney, the senior quarterback, leading this team. Quick sprint across the middle is caught. It's going to be close to a first down. They're going to stop the clock and measure it, but a good sharp throw from Hackney. Looks like he hit Frank Polini there, the 5'9", 170-pound senior, making that catch, going into traffic, Shawn, in the middle. Nicely done.
Well, he's probably playing his best football right now, and he's got, you can see he's got a nice live arm that's able to get the ball over the middle of the field and find the receiver. You know, especially playing at this position, you just need to be accurate. You don't need that big-time arm in a high school match. You're able to get some guys over the middle. If you're able to hit that pass, you're going to get some big gainers in the middle of the field in high school football.
Officials will take time to measure. Hugh Gibson is our referee tonight, joined by Jeff Gordon, our umpire, Dennis D'Alessandro, the linesman.
You see the crowd?
Bakley, the line judge, David Bauman, the back judge, and Joe Santamaro on the clock. There you see the stands here at West Deptford High School as they are applauding a first down for the West Deptford Eagles. 1st and 10 at the Delran 41. West Deptford putting together a solid drive here in their second possession. The pitch out goes to Hall. Yep. Hall coming near side and breaks free along the sideline. How did he find some room? I don't know, but the result of another first down, Shawn, he picked up 12 that time.
Yeah, that's a mark of a real good back, and he not only does he find the sidelines, but he's able to tiptoe up and to make sure that he gets some positive yardage. Some guys will hit that angle where they'll go toward the sidelines and not be able to cut back upfield. He takes the perfect angle on that play where he's able to not only get around the defense, but also cut it upfield for a nice positive gainer and first down again for West Deptford, who seems to have its offense pretty much in gear in the early going of this game.
Hall last week with 4 touchdowns in a 54-6 win for West Deptford over Collingswood. I believe it was Hall again getting the give. Not much there. They'll say no gain officially. We'll have 2nd and 10.
Tamarell on the play. Also Tim Frederick, the linebacker, coming up. He's 5'9", 175, a junior.
The one advantage West Deptford has across their offensive line, the smallest guy is Mike Carbone, a senior at 215.
Probably the toughest out of that group. No offense to any of those others, but Carbone is a football player by every sense of the word.
He's the smallest guy at 215. The biggest guy on Delran's defensive line is Wojciechowski at 215, and he's the biggest guy on their defensive line. So West Deptford certainly going to try and take advantage of that mismatch on the lines.
Well, they have some depth also that they can bring in, and you'll probably see that as they go along. But that's one of the concerns for Delran, is they're afraid not afraid, but they're concerned with West Deptford being so physical. Coach Miles knows that this is a great weightlifting program, and they'll try and out-muscle you, and he was not concerned, but certainly aware of that for West Deptford.
2nd and 10, the pitches to Hall, and he finds some room again, shredding through the Delran defense for another first down and another big gain. Looks like he got about 14 that time for Hall as West Deptford continues to march down the football field. The Eagles, as we said, 7-1, have already clinched their division in the Colonial Conference. And they are
certainly a strong candidate in South Jersey Group 2, as the West Deptford Eagles are the 2 seed here in South Jersey Group 2. Delran, the 7 seed. Point Pleasantville is the number 1 seed, by the way. There's another handoff, and it's going to head towards the end zone, just shy of the goal line. It was Kerr on the carry there. Josh Kerr, a starting linebacker, comes in and gets an opportunity to run the ball down close to the goal line as he pounded it almost into the end zone.
And they're getting a real good push up front. And that's, I mean, that you got to be happy if you're Coach Folsom with what the offensive line has done. And for Delran, that is the one concern, is being out-muscled up front. West Deptford coming in with some power early on, and it's working.
Another first down, and first and goal now. And the handoff is up the middle again, and it's Kerr. And Kerr crashes in for the touchdown. So West Deptford on the board here with 3:47 left to go in the first quarter. 6-0 lead, point after pending.
Very impressive for West Deptford on this drive. They just ran the football behind the big offensive line. Much bigger than what Delran is able to put out there. And Kerr just following the fullback, getting into the end zone, and certainly West Deptford so far looking dominant early in the trenches. That's exactly where you'll win a football game, especially in high school football, is at the line of scrimmage. West Deptford has the advantage early.
Scott Renoro on for the point after. It is up, it is good, and it is a 7-0 West Deptford lead here in the first quarter. Shawn, you know, we talked about it, the just really overpowering offensive line of West Deptford is what led to that touchdown.
Right, that's Carbone and company. I mean, those are the guys I really credit a lot to Jason Morrell, who really established that offensive line and the pride in the offensive line when West Deptford started with its success.
And that's the end of the first quarter. I misspoke. I said 3 minutes, and it was actually 37 seconds. So we will take a break and step away here from West Deptford. Actually, no, 3:47 is left in the first quarter. They just adjusted the clock here. So we will stay here, as again, there are 3 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first quarter. Just double checking here with the guys on the clock in our press box. Things are back to normal. 3:47 left to go. I thought I saw the colon in there, Shawn, between the 3 and the 47, not the decimal point.
That happens. That's a nice scoreboard.
And they've lit it up a lot this year.
Yeah, they have lit up the scoreboard a lot.
This is their 6th home game here at West Deptford this season, and this is their 9th game of the season. So they've had a lot of games here, a lot of home cooking for West Deptford. And should they get to the, as they go through the playoffs, they'll have at least one more home game here if they can emerge victorious tonight, Shawn.
Just a quick point about this Delran team and where it was seeded and how, you know, West Deptford looks and how deceiving sometimes that could be. This is a Delran program that in 1998, which is 9 years ago, as an 8 seed knocked off a really strong Hamilton team as a number 1 seed. And Coach Miles kind of likened that team to this West Deptford program, very similar, where they try to become very physical with you. And he was looking forward to this matchup, just saying, you know, good mano-a-mano football. And he said this is a lunch pail crew. And maybe not any stars wearing those helmets with a D on it, but they certainly are going to come to work and play some football. And he's really proud of what this team has done this season.
Will Murray took the kickoff about the 25, returned it to the 36, and that's where Delran will take over here on their second possession of the ball game, trailing now 7-0.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try and
another stoppage and a flag. Sorry, Shawn.
Sorry.
It'll be against Delran. Although no indication from our officials yet as to what the flag is for. It is a 5-yard penalty. Now we get the signal from Hugh Gibson.
Dead ball, snap infraction, offense.
So it'll be 1st and 15 now for Delran as they'll back up to the 31-yard line and try and start over here. Again, trailing 7-0 in the early going of this one in South Jersey Group 2.
They have good size on the outside. Wojciechowski at 6'3".
Larson fires, a little bit short. intended on the far side.
Good group of receivers. They got Ryan McFadden, who's a senior, 5'10", 170, has great legs on the outside. They bring in Jim McHugh, who also, with good speed, 6 foot 170. Wojciechowski, a tight end, would sometimes they'll split him out with good wheels. 6'3", 210, which presents a little bit of a mismatch for some cornerbacks. 6'3", 210 pounds, and he'll be able to outmuscle you for the football. But what he'll do is try to use his body and position, maybe on them short routes.
And West Deptford has, and Delran has also shown that they're not averse to throwing to the backside of the backfield. We've already seen a couple of tosses to Murray and one that Frederick dropped. The direct snap this time goes the way of Robert Bruce. Bruce takes it and picks up about 5 back to the original line of scrimmage, and we will have 3rd and 10. Actually, I'm going to say he got 4, so 3rd and 11 as he was shoved out of bounds.
There, you can see him right there, number 79, Nick Catalico, 315 pounds, 6'4". He is one big kid. There you see him, number 79. That time they're just going to run right behind him, try to gain some yardage with Bruce behind the big fella, who's gaining some interest from a lot of Division I schools as a junior. Rutgers, one of the schools that is interested in him, as well as Vanderbilt.
Murray in motion. Larson back to pass on 3rd and 11. Fires across the middle. Wide open is Jim McHugh, but he can't catch it. And Shawn, that's twice tonight.
Yep.
Delran has dropped balls right between the numbers where they've had opportunities to pick up first downs.
But you can expect that West Deptford, with its offense, is going to score. So plays like that, and I talked to you about being able to throw over the middle, and as a quarterback in high school, you got to be able to make that throw. Larson does. So as a wide receiver, right in your hands, you have to make sure you secure it before you turn off field. A mistake by the senior, who doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. His McHugh and McFadden are pretty sure-handed receivers.
Dan Chinichi back to punt. It's blocked by West Deptford and recovered at the 22-yard line. Number 45 for the Eagles. Dan Backdorf comes in to get the block and scoops up the loose ball, and West Deptford gets a golden opportunity here to capitalize.
Yeah, this is a kid that's lifted all year long, ran spring track to try and get some speed, and you can see that speed and his burst off the line of scrimmage is allowing him to get to that punter a little bit early. He's able to get the block and set up his offense. An outstanding play by Batdorf. Probably not one of the bigger names here at West Deptford, but somebody who is so important to the success of this 7-1 football team.
1st and 10, West Deptford at the Delran 22. Looks like Kerr again crashing across the 10 down to the 7. Another first down as West Deptford's just manhandling the Delran defensive line.
Well, they call him the Pit Bull. That's because he does all the work on the inside. He's a little mean, little nasty. Kerr already with 1 touchdown. Had a great game on defense and offense against Haddon Heights. Now he's one of them low center of gravity type running backs where it's hard to bring him down because he's going to get low and it's hard to get underneath of him. And not a real big kid at only 5'8", but he's stocky at 190 pounds. So that's difficult to try and get underneath of him and take out his legs when you have a guy like that. He's Pitbull in every sense of the word. Nice name given by Coach Morrell, who I was talking about earlier, who I thought really made an impact in this program with the weightlifting program, getting a lot of guys around him to really believe in working out and getting that line in order. And since that time, Jason Morrell years, boy, this West Deptford offensive and defensive line has been one of the dominant lines in the Colonial Conference.
2:08 left to go here. A timeout on the field called by the Delran Bears, and there you see the numbers for Delran. This season, of course, you see they opened up with the win at Riverside and a forfeit victory over McCorston, and you see that 1-0.
Yeah, it's long drive by the third baseman. Went deep into the seats and they got a 1-0 win.
Well, they got an extra point, and that was all. West Deptford, of course, 7-1. We'll probably get a look at their numbers again a little bit later on, as that was flashed up there pretty quickly. We'll take another look at it. But West Deptford now 1st and goal at the 7. As Hackney takes the snap, the give goes to Hall this time. He tries to get to the 5, cannot, as he was grabbed by Max Larson, the inside linebacker, who also is the quarterback for this team. He came in and slowed up.
Yeah, Trent Dobes also on that that line you see there.
Now the numbers for
The
West
win
Deptford.
for Gateway, and then a tough game against Haddon Township. The loss to Audubon with Rizzo throwing the ball over the field. And people started to wonder, was this the team that we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years? But they came back with a nice win against Haddon Heights, a big win against Woodbury, and here they have it. 5 wins later, they are in the playoffs.
Second and goal, the pitches to Hall. Great job that time by Mike Wojciechowski, the defensive end, coming up and making the stop as he just was able to hold on long enough to get some help.
Huge play by Wojciechowski. You go down 2 scores here in the first quarter to West Deptford with its home crowd behind him. And that's tough to be able to come back from. But Wojciechowski, a senior, making a play in the playoffs where you expect these guys to come out when their backs are against the wall. Somebody to kind of dig in, and that time Wojciechowski's able to do it for the Bears.
So now 3rd and goal for West Deptford as the ball pushed back now outside the 10 to the 11-yard line. See what West Deptford head coach Clyde Folsom has in the bag of tricks here for this 3rd and long. It's a fake handoff, wide open across the middle. Hackney throwing, and I think it's Batdorf, the tight end. It is, makes the catch for the touchdown. Great play call, and Batdorf busted free, Shawn. Wide open in the end zone.
Yeah, man, just a terrific job by Hackney in setting that up. Looks like the little rollout's going to come for him, but he spots Batdorf over the middle of the field. Great play calling by Coach Folsom. This is a kid, Batdorf, that I think a lot of people like here at West Deptford. He was a state champion in the pole vault last year.
They're going to like him a lot more after that touchdown, too.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to tell you he's a tough kid. You know, jumping with a pole in your hand, jumping, I guess, what do they jump, about 11 feet, 12 feet, something like that?
Sure.
sounds about right. That sounds
Scott
like
Renaro's point after attempt misses wide right. I don't know if it was deflected. It looked like it may have been. But nevertheless, West Deptford in the lead, 13-0 here with 38 seconds left to go in this first quarter. And Shawn, this time, West Deptford takes advantage of the great field position to get the score.
Right, I mean, that Batdorf, you know, he does everything, a little bit of everything. Gets the block punt, he's able to get the big catch. His dad, Hal Batdorf, good bloodlines. Kansas State, 1972 to 74.
Nice.
So it kind of runs in the family there of good football players. And yeah, this is a kid, Dan Batdorf, again. He does all the dirty work. You know, he's able to get the block punt. He's usually a good blocker, but he's got the good hands on the outside. Now, West Deptford, we've seen them a lot of the years. You know, you talk about Jason Merles, and also they've had some really good tight ends. Last year, losing a real good one. And I mean, this year you come back, you're trying to replace a lot of the players, but typically at a position at tight end, you know, that is extremely tough to find that type of a player where he's such a good athlete. Somebody who's typically got, pretty big, got good hands over the middle, can block well. You know, those kids are usually really good athletes, and Dan Batdorf fits the mold.
In order to kick off, sends a low one. Delran can't handle it. They have touched it. It's a live ball. Murray picks it up, runs across the 20. We've got a flag across the 25, the 30, spun down at the 32, but flags thrown in the mix there. Probably have holding against Delran. We'll see that move back. Again, our referee tonight, Hugh Gibson. Holding is the call against Delran, so they'll get pushed back from the spot of the foul, 10 yards back. So not very good starting field position here for Delran on their 3rd possession.
See Carbone congratulating Batdorf, and I mentioned Batdorf. You go back with O'Neill a couple of years ago. There was a real good one here, and then last year Zach Smith, who had a terrific season as a senior, went on to play some college football.
First down.
1st and 10 it will be for Delran at their own 19. There you see Clyde Folsom.
Having a good time right now. Team up by a couple of scores.
Of course, coached at Bishop Eustace for a while, St. Joe's and Hamilton. And he's been here at West Deptford for, what, 17 years now for Clyde Folsom?
Lord, it doesn't seem that long. 17? I don't think 17.
Larson back to pass over the middle. Wojciechowski. Oh, what a catch by the big tight end down the middle. Nicely done. And that play's been there, Shawn, tonight for Delran a couple of times. This time they finally connected. And it is a first down for the first time tonight for Delran with 20 seconds left to go in the quarter. We'll see if Delran elects to let the clock run, or if they try and get one more play off before time expires here.
Well, we talked about the middle of the field being open. Usually you got 5 guys up at the line of scrimmage. You know, linebackers sink in a lot. You're not used to throwing too much, seeing too many too many really good passers in the Colonial Conference.
Time
usually a running conference, but you know, you had Rizzo this year and he had success against this team. So you expect Delran to try to come out and pass Larson going up to Wojciechowski.
Time expires here in the first quarter. West Deptford leading the Delran Bears by the score of 13-0. We will come back with second quarter action after this on Comcast Channel 5. Back here at West Deptford High School, Mike Shute and Shawn Leary bringing you NJSIAA Group 2 South Section first round football matchup between the Delran Bears and West Deptford Eagles. West Deptford leading by the score of 13-0, just underway here in the second quarter. After the 19-yard pickup on the pass play from Larson to Wojciechowski, they go to the air again. This time, Larson hitting Ryan McFadden on the far side. The 5'10", 170-pound senior makes the grab. Another first down for Delran. And Shawn, it seems as if Delran's found a little formula here now. They're starting to kind of get things rolling offensively, throwing the football.
Well, they're trying to get Larson involved. I mean, this is a guy 6'2", 215 pounds. Real good size sitting back there at quarterback, and we've already talked about some of the success that Delran has had at quarterback with the Sackers, and you know, they've had some good ones here, and Larson will probably be used a lot during this game because of what West Deptford presents in defense.
Larson hits Jim McHugh. McHugh still on his feet, scampering across the 35 down to the 30. That's a gain of about 17. But we've got a flag on the play on the near side. We'll have to see what the call is there before they march off a first down. Our officials will talk it over. Shawn, we can talk a little bit about South Jersey Group 2 while we await the call. Illegal man downfield is the call against Delran, so that call will go for naught. But in Group 2, you've got, of course, Delran, West Deptford, the 2 seed, Delran 7. Point Pleasant Borough playing host to Buna tonight. That's the 1 and 8 seed game. You see the numbers, you see the info on the monitor there. We also have Bridgeton at Manasquan, the 5 seed at the 4 seed.
Yeah, Manasquan was the defending champion, which had one of the best teams, a storied team, 5 Division I players with that program last year, and that's actually who Delran drew last season in the playoffs, and they got beat 28-0. West Deptford played them in the South Jersey final and lost them by the same score, 28-0.
That game tomorrow, and also Cinnaminson will play host to Burlington Township.
Should be a good game. It's both teams at 4-4, very equal to each other. That should be a fine game. So you look at the Group 2, and there are possibilities, some of the bottom seeds being able to win a couple of those games.
Larson connecting with Wojciechowski again, as it's captain to captain, and the tight end picks up about 9, and we'll have 2nd and 7.
Yeah, about 2nd and 7. They're just trying to get some of the yardage back. You're right, Larson really seems to be in rhythm right now as he's just dropping back. McFadden and McHugh are finding some holes in the defense. They're just sitting down, and Larson's able to pick up some fine yards with some of those passes, and he seems to be able to feel pretty comfortable with it without a West Deptford pass rush. Now West Deptford throws the blitz at him. good decision, I think, defensively by West Deptford there to try to now disrupt some of that rhythm. And how do you do that? Well, you blitz them, throw off the timing. You know, the passing game is all about timing. You need that timing down to be able to complete a pass with the speed of the game. And if you're able to disrupt that and you mess up the rhythm, the timing of it, that's where you can see some incomplete passes. And that time, certainly, you know, even though you had a guy open in the flat, you know, you bring some heat. That just throws off what the quarterback does.
Yeah, Wojciechowski trying to. He was wide open, and Larson just couldn't hit him over there. Would have been a good gain, too, because he was wide open and unguarded. And now it'll be 3rd and 7 as Delran breaks the huddle. Now clock stops again. Players talking things over. Clyde Folsom trying to find a player. That player, number 82, Andrew Corman. Here's a nice play by a player, and it's Delran's player, Ryan McFadden. The wide receiver makes the catch. Larson fired across the middle, and a West Deptford player is down in pain back near where the tackle was made. Clock will stop as they're going to check and see on the injury.
And that could be Kadeem Hall. And that would be, no, excuse me, that's not Kadeem Hall.
Looks like it might be Brian Jackson.
Yeah, that might be Brian Jackson. Or even, it could be a 4. We'll find out before we keep throwing names out there. But he's in some pain. That might actually be Gordon Holmes. But you know, right now, Larson is throwing the ball pretty much at ease without a pass rush unless they're bringing some type of pressure up the middle. He is just picking that West Deptford defense apart, and McFadden and McHugh are starting to heat up. There you saw the good hands by McFadden over the middle of the field. Again, you bring some pressure up the middle and you bring those 5 guys, you got the 2 receivers to the out. If the safeties don't come up to the middle of the field, you know, if they're looking to maybe help out a cornerback if need be, if they don't come up in the middle of the field, there's a ton of room right over the middle, and that's where he's finding a lot of space and some open receivers.
And with West Deptford with that 5-man defensive line, there is a little soft space in the middle there that Delran can exploit, and they have so far. And of course, a couple times they had receivers open in that soft space, and they've dropped the ball. There you see Gordon Holmes, number 4, the cornerback, 5'10", 170-pound junior, is going to come off.
Cousins of Cordell Young, guy who had an outstanding career here at West Deptford, now playing at Rutgers, was injured earlier in the year and was lost for the season.
The trainer, Nicole English, talking to Gordon Holmes. Delran now, after that, in fantastic position, 1st and 10 at the 13 of West Deptford. So a couple of big plays, and Delran is in business. New quarterback in there, and Stan Chinichi, number 16, hands off. As also on the field was the other quarterback, Max Larson, number 7. He came in motion and may have taken that handoff.
Chinichi's is a real good quarterback too. You know, he'll be starting for a couple other teams, but he's 6 foot, 170. They have a lot of confidence in him being able to come up, so not afraid to stick Larson in, you know, in the defense and be afraid at linebacker to, you know, worry about the injury. Prone, you know, you're in that linebacker, you can get your hand messed up, especially with your throwing hand. That can be dangerous for a quarterback.
Chinichi again at quarterback, and the handoff this time looks like it went to Frederick. No, actually it was Robert Bruce again, number 32. No gain.
Larson's in there, but he's been kind of used as a decoy thus far. He's a big kid, maybe trying to confuse West Deptford, but that's... You really like the rhythm and the way Larson was able to throw the football, and they got 3rd down. I don't know if they're going to ask him to come back in now and play that quarterback position.
It's going to be Chinichi again, with Larson lining up to the right of your screen at the top there, split out to the wide. Split out to the right now. Larson's in motion. Backs in the eye. Again, it's a running play. West Deptford sniffs it out, and Bruce again. Not picking up much, and it will be 4th down for the Bears. 4th and about 3 or 4 here as they move inside the 10-yard line.
Very interesting to see what they do here. They'll probably end up going for it here with 4th and short. Down especially 13 points. Down here at this end of the field, the worst thing, if you do not make it, you don't get a sack. At least you're forcing West Deptford to travel a long length of the field offensively if you don't make this.
4th and 5, Larson back under center now. Takes the snap, fades back, has plenty of time, looking across the middle, wide open. Oh, and he misfired as he had a receiver wide open, but just threw it a little bit behind him. I think it was McFadden that time, number 2. Couldn't quite make the connection. And then West Deptford will take over on downs.
And who am I to question Pete Miles? This is a guy that's had a tremendous amount of success as a coach. But you have to wonder, and I'm sure people wonder, you know, when you take Larson out, he seemed to be throwing the ball extremely well. Again, we talked about that timing and rhythm. Well, now you force him to come back here on a fourth down situation, a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, and he throws behind the receiver. Now, I know it's only a couple plays, and that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at least you have to ask the question, does that have anything to do with the quarterback misfiring on that pass when he was picking them off at ease? Now the receivers obviously with more open space when you're in the middle of the field and backed up against the goal line, you got a lot of defenders and a lot of secondary to try and throw against.
West Deptford on 1st and 10. It was Kerr there picking up 2 from their own 8, so it'll be 2nd and 8 from about the 10 now for the Eagles. The defense holds as Delran threatened. And now West Deptford's offense takes over as they've scored on 2 of 3 possessions so far tonight. Handoff is to Hall, coming around the right side, gets across the 20, shoved out of bounds at the 25, but another 1st down pickup and another double-digit yardage run for Kadeem Hall, Shawn, as he just is picking up huge chunks of yardage on every touch.
Yeah, and what I really like about this guy is just the angle that he takes when he gets to the outside. I mean, that's as good as you're going to find it, of being able to hit the corner and turn it upfield in a hurry. And a lot of guys, especially young players, that try to get to the outside, sometimes will lose their footing, take the wrong angle. But Kadeem Hall has it down pretty pat. This is a guy who really can exploit. There you see that West Deptford coaching staff with the big guy, Clyde Folsom.
Handoff up the middle, it's Kerr again. Kerr gets across the 25 to the 26, and clock will stop as we have a flag thrown down at the line of scrimmage on the left side.
This looks like it's going to be a hold against West Deptford and should bring them back now. Getting these second long situations. Difficult to overcome.
Shawn correct on the call, as it was holding against West Deptford.
And what you're going to have to do now, Mike, is hey, this is your shot here. You know, you're down 13-0. You're behind. You have to be able to get off the field now. Within these next 2 downs and give your offense a chance with plenty of time here in the first half. 6:24. Move the ball effectively.
Holding, offense. Go 1st down.
Move the ball effectively, did Delran in the previous possession. West Deptford with the big plays thus far. A nice drive. They move the football on the ground. And the second possession of the game, the block punt sets up the second touchdown on a pass from Hackney to backdoor.
So the hold came 2 yards downfield, so it brings up 1st and 18. Pass incomplete across the middle. They were trying to hit Batdorf across the middle. Hackney misfired a little bit out of the reach, and we've got another flag.
This was a late flag. Late flag.
This time a legal man downfield against West Deptford. Clyde Folsom wondering what's going on with the offense all of a sudden. An offense that was rolling here, putting up 13 points on 2 of their first 3 possessions. Now seemingly taking some steps backward. It'll bring up 1st now and 23 if Delran does indeed accept the penalty, and they will. Ball will be back at the 11-yard line of West Deptford. So they started out back in a hole.
Downfield.
They started out back in a hole, Shawn. They kind of started to break their way out of it. Now they're back in that same hole again, as this drive started on their own 8, now at the 11.
Yeah, but Hackney was trying to look over the middle of the field for Batdorf and taking a page out of what Delran has been able to do, finding the open part of the field, which is the middle. Try to get the ball over the offensive and defensive lines right into your receiver's hand. And Hackney's been pretty sharp early going as well.
1st and 23. This is Hall. Actually, Tamasitis, pardon me.
The sophomore running back has shown some electric skills for this West Deptford team at times this season.
First off, Tamasitis got a great name. You know, you carry with Tamasitis, you can do so much with that name, especially with the Gloucester County Times. And we like seeing names like that and guys like that. This is a kid, he's not very big, but boy, he's not afraid to go through the middle of the field. He kind of gets lost through there. He's got good explosion, not afraid to absorb a hit. You know, a lot of people, including Owen Scott Shapley at the Times, really likes this kid.
He picked up 13 there to bring it to 2nd and 10. Quarterback keeper this time is Hackney. Tried to get across the line of scrimmage. Don't think he did. Might have even lost a yard. He did, and it'll be a 3rd and 11 now. So West Deptford in the a rare 3rd and long situation tonight, Shawn.
Yeah, I mean, this is a spot, again, where you have to be able to get off the field if you're Delran. You know, when you're in this position, again, you don't want to make too many mistakes during a playoff football game. You know, you're gonna make some. Man, it's just the way it is. You got to make sure that when the other team makes mistakes, you capitalize on it. West Deptford with a couple of penalties, now you have to capitalize. Force them to punt, get the ball in good field position.
3rd and 12. Hackney back, has a little screen, backdoor. Almost a good tackle made, but backdoor breaks loose, gets across the 30, brought down at about the 31.
Just short.
About 3 yards short of a first down, so we'll have 4th and 3. A nice play developed. Delran looked like they had it snuffed out, Shawn. Tackle just off the mark. I think it was Wojciechowski who came up to make that tackle and couldn't get there.
Yeah, Will Murray was the guy who came up, one of the outside linebackers. Probably the guy who's improved the most from the beginning of the season to right now. Will Murray has developed into a real nice player for this program and kind of put them into one of the top teams in Group 2 by being able to give this team a little bit of a spark at that outside linebacker position.
So West Deptford will punt here. There you see Scott Renaro. Delran with 2 guys back deep, standing around their 40-yard line. Now a timeout taken. As the Delran players back there, McFadden and McHugh, the 2 starting wide receivers for the Bears, will be back deep to receive that punt. But West Deptford first takes a quick timeout. 3:44 left to go. They lead at 13-0. 2 first quarter touchdowns, 1 missed extra point, and that's what has built West Deptford's lead. They did it mostly on the ground, Shawn, running the football and just kind of jamming it right down the throats of Delran on those 2 drives.
You see a big sigh that time from Coach Folsom, and you have to wonder, taking a timeout in that situation, maybe West Deptford had something on, and it's something they didn't see or didn't like. They called the timeout. It was Renaro, and I didn't see anybody from the sideline exactly screaming the timeout call there, but you know, makes you wonder, maybe they had something on and seeing it wasn't going to work for them, so they had to call timeout and expected probably to boot it away. And that might not been it at all, but you just wonder what call them timeout throwing a punt. Makes you wonder. I know Folsom maybe had something up his sleeve there.
So 4th and 3 here on the punt. And again, McHugh and McFadden back deep. It'll be taken by McFadden. Fair catch called for at the 47-yard line of Delran. So excellent field position for the Bears here as they take over. Trying to get on the board here with 3:37 left to go.
Actually, what I think they were trying to do is, we saw that on the punt, is they all went down and the line kind of goes down in their 3-point stance. Maybe they're hoping that Delran would jump off sides, get 5 yards, you pick up the first down. Doesn't happen. Delran kind of holds, and they call a timeout to kind of reset and regroup, trying to get Delran to jump on that play, but Delran and the Bears not biting. Now, decent field position. Again, have to take advantage here in the first half.
McHugh's the man in motion. Larson goes back, hands off up the middle. I believe it was Murray this time getting nothing. It'll be 2nd and 10. Actually, it was Bruce again, 32 on the carry. No gain, and it will be 2nd and 10. Max Larson the quarterback for Delran. He missed 2 weeks with an injured left ankle. Came back last week, split time with Dan Chinichi. He was 9 for 14 for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, 37 yards and 52 yards, both to McFadden. And the one to McFadden was a little screen that McFadden did most of the work and broke loose on that 52-yarder. So, and he showed it tonight again where he's got the ability to get free in space. Here's Larson to McFadden again, first down as they pick up about 15 on a good throw and a good route run by McFadden.
Yeah, it looked like Kerr had pretty good coverage. It just was thrown right over his shoulder. And a nice pass right in to the rib cage of the receiver. And that is, Larson looks really good. This is a kid coming out here on a crisp day. Probably warmed up now. He's got that arm pretty loose. And he is firing the football pretty much with ease right now. You expect this trend to continue. They're moving the ball through there, and that will soften up that defense if you want to run it in the second half or in the later stages of this half.
Larson fakes the handoff, throws across the middle again. It's Will Murray, the halfback. More first down yardage. He gets about 15. Down inside the 25 to the 23. It'll be another 1st and 10 for Delran as again, Shawn, they're moving the ball through the air.
Well, Canalico and company's giving them time to pass. That, we keep saying, the middle of the field wide open, and until those safeties come up, they're going to be able to find space in the middle.
And again, this is not a huge Delran offensive line. You've got Catalico there, 6'3", 305, number 79, but he's really the extent of the size on this team. Everybody else right around 200 pounds. They're still giving Larson time, though. He's back again, has time. Floats one towards the end zone. Had the tight end, Wojciechowski, open. They got strangled up, and now a late flag comes in as Wojciechowski got tripped up by Brian Jackson, and it will be likely pass interference unless the officials talk things over and say maybe the pass was uncatchable, Shawn.
I don't know if it was uncatchable. It might have been incidental contact downfield where you sometimes let that go where the feet get tangled up and not using the hands for advantage, and West Deptford fans not happy with it.
It looked like maybe I think it was the safety Brian Jackson back there defending, and it looked like maybe, Shawn, he wasn't actually looking at the football when they got tangled up. Maybe that's why they're going to make that call.
Little meeting right here.
Yeah.
Little meeting.
You got people nodding heads yes and no, and maybe. And
come here, you got the hand wave to come here. They're going to wave it off.
Yeah.
It's going to make some West Deptford fans. Look how happy they are now. You had the hustle standing up, hollering. They're angry. The wives are pulling them down by their leather jackets. Sit down, you're embarrassing me.
They will say incidental contact. So it'll be 2nd and 10. And it was a good opportunity for Delran. Larson floated that one up there, and it was just unfortunate that Wojciechowski got tangled up with the defender. So 2nd and 10 for Delran, but still in great field position, still with an opportunity to get on the board. 2:07 left to go here, 2nd quarter.
And I think that was the right call. I think it was incidental contact. They got the feet tangled up. I don't think he tried to gain an advantage by using arms or anything like that. Just incidental contact, and nice job conversing about it, picking up the flag.
Larson from the shotgun on 2nd.
Great time.
Again, complete over the middle. It's McFadden who made the catch, pulled it away from the defensive back. And good, strong hands from McFadden.
There's another flag down. Back near the line of scrimmage.
And that's almost in the spot of a late hit on the quarterback, Shawn.
Yeah, you know your spots, man. You know your spots. That was in the right. I mean, that was right in the spot for for a late hit in the quarterback.
I just go by the manual, Shawn. That's what they tell me.
That's the spot right there. You had it.
So they're going to add half the distance to the goal onto the end of that play. So it'll put West Deptford inside the 10. They'll have 1st and goal down at the 5. It will be for Delran here, as they are trying to get on the board, trailing 13-0 now with 1:58 left to go, 2nd quarter.
And let's give Pete Miles some credit. He did a nice job scouting this team. What Rizzo was able to do was throw the football. He's come out with a terrific game plan.
Roughing the pass on the defense, half the distance to the goal.
Hey, you see Hugh Gibson giving us the call. But, Coach Miles comes out, says we're going to throw the football. It's been effective so far. Starting to work now against this good West Deptford defense.
And they've gotten down here before. It's a direct snap. This time it's
Yes.
Robert Bruce strung out towards the far sideline. Good pursuit by the West Deptford defense. Doesn't give Bruce much at all, but this is what happened before, Shawn, for Delran. They got down inside the 10, down in the red zone. Then they started trying to run the football and couldn't connect.
Right.
See how they do on this second go-round here.
I love his game plan except for down here. That play doesn't work against teams like West Deptford. They have good speed with the linebackers to the outside. The defensive ends get terrific push. That time he's going behind his big guy. He says, I'm going to go behind Catalico, direct snap to Bruce, but the West Deptford defense will stop that play more times than not. And if you're able to call something off of that, maybe it works. But, it's very difficult to get to the outside there.
Again, the direct snap to Bruce. It goes off his knee. He tries to recover. We'll see who got it.
He did get it back.
Delran does have it, so it'll be 3rd and goal as the ball now is pushed back to the 7-yard line. But obviously things not working out too well here for Delran in the red zone. As time winding down, 45 seconds now and counting here on 3rd and goal.
Still plenty of time. No need to rush. They got 3rd and goal. But, that's a spot, man. They just, the direct snap to Bruce, it's probably something you worked during the season. You think it's going to work, and you come out, and it has not worked so far. You got to start trying to change it up, think of something else.
Larson back to pass. Plenty of time. Fires across the middle. Touchdown.
That
Good
works.
sharp throw to Jim McHugh. It does work. The senior captain makes the catch in the end zone. And Delran on the board here with 20 seconds left to go, 13-6. And we'll see, will they go for 2 or go for the point after?
You'll get...
They will go for the PAT. Larson is also the place kicker on this team. The holder will be Jim McHugh.
I don't think that it's short of going for the long point. This could be some chicanery right here.
At 13-6, though, they snap it to Larson. Oh, and a great throw. Good call, Shawn, on the chicanery. Chicanery it was. It was also a 2-point conversion. Well done on Larson's part as he hit Ryan McFadden, who found a nice spot in the back of the end zone, Shawn. Just kind of placed his feet in front of that end line and made the catch for the 2-point conversion.
Well, I've been scouting the Bears, and then sometimes they'll do that to you. They'll try to trick you, think they're going for that extra point, and they like to mix it up a little bit, catch you off guard, especially in that type of predicament. They said, there's a chance we may try some things in the kicking game.
So 13-8 now the score here with just about 20 seconds left to go in the second quarter. We've had a pretty entertaining first half. West Deptford's been able to move the ball on the ground. Delran able to do it via the air. So we're getting 2 different types of offensive attacks in this South Jersey Group 2 quarterfinal matchup.
Right now it's MC squared. Remember MC squared?
Yeah. Where's the E?
I don't know. Okay. But it's MC squared because you have McFadden and McHugh.
Yep. We got no E though.
No. A couple errors down, toward the goal line where they were going to try to run it with Bruce, and nothing against Bruce. But right now, Larson is a hot quarterback. McHugh and McFadden is doing a very nice job of finding some open space in that West Deptford secondary.
And Delran will kick it on the ground. West Deptford scooping it up. Oh, some running room available. Getting across the 40. It was
Thomasitis,
yeah, picking it up in traffic there and getting decent field position. Yeah. Now, if you're West Deptford, do you try and make something out of something here with 14 seconds left? You've got a timeout or 2 left, right?
Yeah, I'd be happy to try and work something. But I wouldn't be surprised if they hand the ball off and just maybe see if somebody can spring something loose. I think they're going to have an official's timeout.
Yes, official has official timeout on the field. 1st and 10 for West Deptford at their own 41.
Now McHugh and McFadden will play pretty deep here. This is the bend but don't break defense. You're not going to let anybody get behind you.
And now another stoppage of the clock. Delran calls timeout here. Trying to talk things over, and I guess they want to make sure that they don't make any critical mistakes here and try and keep the score at 13-8 going into the locker room.
It's a smart timeout by Miles. What he does there is he calls timeout after West Deptford comes to the line. So you see what type of formation they run. So now you kind of know what the game plan against, and if that's West Deptford's best play, for a 14.4 seconds, 60-some yards length of the field play that they're ready to call. That's their best play. Now they've wasted it. If they're going to have to call something else, well, you see what formation they're in. It just allows the guys to tell them, say, listen, make sure, again, don't let anybody get behind you. But a nice timeout usage of it for Miles there. You see some fans lining the fence.
Yeah, good crowd on hand here on a cold night. Expected to get down into the the upper 30s tonight here in the South Jersey area. So it will be a cold evening. 1st and 10. Hackney back to pass. They do throw one up deep, and it is knocked down. Pass was intended for Brian Jackson, sprinting down the near sideline. In coverage was Ryan McFadden back there to knock it away. But it will be 2nd and 10, still with 9 seconds left to go. And now, do you just take a knee and say, okay, we took one shot, we're happy with that?
Throw it up again.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Hey, listen, right now we got the time to send our condolences and sympathy to not only the township of West Deptford, the police officers who responded to the murder of the 2 little girls, not only to the family, but everyone here in West Deptford and Woodbury, and the police officers that had to respond to that. Comcast and the sympathies go out to all those who were involved.
2nd and 10 again. Hackney throwing deep into traffic, and again, Delran knocking it down with still 1.9 seconds left to go. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. I believe now we'll see just a knee here. But yeah, why not? Why not throw it again?
1.9, go up top. Maybe if it bounces off a helmet, you know, and gets right into your arms, you're able to scamper into the end zone.
And of course, you're putting it up there looking for maybe a pass interference too, and get yourself, down the field again as the half or any time cannot expire on a defensive penalty. Hackney talking it over with Clyde Folsom, and they will come out for one last play here in the 2nd quarter. Delran, though, has been game. They've hung in there. Shawn, they had things look pretty bleak for them after West Deptford scores on 2 of their first 3 drives, but Delran has hung in there and trailing 13-8 after getting that 2-point conversion after the touchdown. Hackney back, and he's sacked, but holds on to the football as number 64, Anthony Yanarella, the junior, comes up with the sack. First sack of the ball game for either team, but it will be for naught as things wind down here in the first half. West Deptford will go into the locker room leading Delran by the score of 13-8 here in the South Jersey Group 2 quarterfinal here from West Deptford High School. We'll come back with second half action right after this. Mike Shute and Shawn Leary with you from West Deptford High School. Back at West Deptford High School, South Jersey Group 2 first round playoff matchup in the NJSI AA football tournament. Second half action underway. West Deptford leading Delran by the score of 13-8 as West Deptford kicks off to Delran here to start things in the second half. And the kicker for West Deptford, Scott Renaro, kind of limping off there after the kick, right about the 50-yard line.
Not a good sign at all for West Deptford, especially in a close game where you hold a 5-point lead. That's something that we'll be keeping our eye on because he, as most kickers from West Deptford, a weapon that can be used for some points anytime during the game.
Chinichi in there at quarterback to start things for Delran here in the second half. Max Larson also on the field as well, number 7. Both of those guys out there. And now Larson heads over to Coach Pete Miles to talk things over, and looks like Larson will take the snap. This time as Chinichi has run back over towards the sideline. So no gain there. It'll be 2nd and 10 here for the Delran offense. In the first half, they very successful throwing the football, Shawn. We'll see if they go back to that formula here on 2nd and 10.
Be interesting to see the adjustment that West Deptford makes in the middle of the field. Now you expect them to go to the outside, kind of anticipated by West Deptford.
Interception. It's picked off by Gordon Holmes. Holmes, who was injured in the first half, comes down and he will take it to the house. Gets the interception at about the 43-yard line. Takes it all the way back. Touchdown, West Deptford. What a great start for the Eagles defense here in the third quarter.
He looks all better. Nice job of being able to backpedal, get the interception. It almost seemed like that was like the game of cat and mouse. Where you think, all right, well, they expect us that we're going to cover the middle of the field, so let's make sure that we kind of make sure we get to the outside, and then we know they're going to try to get to the outside because they're going to think that we're going to cover the middle of the field. And that time, it's working for West Deptford. They're able to pick the pass off, go in for a touchdown. Not at all the way Delran wanted to start. Having problems with both the first and second starts of the half. They give up 13 unanswered to start the game, and a touchdown here, only 49 seconds in.
So Gordon Holmes with the interception and takes it all the way back for the touchdown. The point after deflected but goes through anyway as Renaro gets the kick to go through. Actually, not Renaro there on the kick. It was number 13 for West Deptford. Ryan Ritchie comes in to do the kicking there. Point after is good, and it is a 20-8 ball game as West Deptford, right off the bat here in the second half, Shawn, answers defensively. It looked like Delran was able to pass the ball on this West Deptford defense all day, at least the way things went in the first half. They had a lot of success, but West Deptford with the interception there as Larson was throwing into just about triple coverage on that far side of the field. And they get the interception. Holmes takes it back for the touchdown.
It's the old I know you know that I know that you know that we're going to pass to the inside, so we're going to the outside.
Huh?
We know that, so we're going to cover the outside. And it pays off. West Deptford, nice job in coverage. And again, this seems like Delran. They take one step forward, a couple steps backward. They seem to look pretty well at certain parts of the game and collapse at others. And that was it was an ill-advised pass that time for Larson to the outside. His receiver well covered. You're thrown into triple coverage there to your left and pays for it on the scoreboard. 20-8 now. Again, still a lot of time. We just got underway here in the half. It's 11-11. So still plenty of time for the Bears to come back.
Renaro comes back and does kick off, still limping a little bit as he crosses the 50. The kick taken by McFadden, who leaps across the 30 and then is brought down there as he's met by...
Look, it was Ryan Clark.
And Rob Fearon, number 29 also. And there you see Clark celebrating his big tackle along the sideline. A good play by Clark. And the kicker for West Deptford again, Renaro coming off the field slowly after he picks up the tee, ripping his way over. So we'll have to monitor that the rest of the game, see how he makes out, and if they use him in the point after situations the rest of the game, if they're going to stick with Ritchie. But Delran will take over now. First they were down by just 5 points, now facing a 12-point deficit as we're barely a minute into this second half of action. Max Larson in the shotgun, takes the quick snap, under pressure, he is brought down, sacked that time. I think it was Batdorf, it was 45, coming around the right end and makes the sack.
This guy's been doing everything tonight. Dan Batdorf has been outstanding in so many different ways. Special teams, defensively, caught an offensive touchdown over the middle of the field.
Batdorf with a blocked punt on special teams, as Shawn mentioned. You see with the sack there, he's caught a touchdown pass as well, having a big game for the West Deptford Eagles. 10:32 left to go, third quarter. 20-8 the score. West Deptford, the 2 seed in South Jersey Group 2. Delran, the 7 seed. Number 7 is the quarterback for Delran. Max Larson takes the snap from the shotgun under pressure, rolls away from it to the right, connects with the receiver who shoved out of bounds at the 31. It's number 3, Jim McHugh, making the catch. And, we don't have a stat guy tonight, Shawn, but certainly Larson, a lot of yardage this evening throwing the football.
Yeah, a lot of almost the predominant number of the offensive yards coming tonight through the air. They haven't really established anything on the ground, credited to the West Deptford defense, but also, basically what the defense is giving you. If they're going to stop the run and push everything up front, then you're going to try and find some holes, and at least Delran has the option. That's what makes them a difficult team to match up with, because you can't shut down one or the other. Or both, excuse me.
Larson again from the shotgun on 3rd and 8, throwing far side. A long pass all the way across the field, but connects for a first down. As it's, again, McHugh over there picking up first down yards. They needed 8. They got about 12, and it'll be a first down with just about 10 minutes left to go now, third quarter.
It seemed like a 40-yard bomb to the outside of the field. That play took a long time to work. The receiver was able to do a little curl, come back to the football, and it works out for Delran as they pick up the first down.
Yeah, Delran, the offense had the ball in the near hash marks, and that pass went all the way towards the far sideline, so it's a really long throw to make. Kind of not one that's, necessarily the first option when you're trying to make a play in high school football. It's a long throw. Larson able to connect with McHugh. Larson again back to pass. Pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, but caught anyway for about a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6, as it was Will Murray over there, the halfback, making the catch. The senior, one of the captains on this Delran team, getting the grab.
It's obvious that Delran, a lot of the practice is working on the hands and being able to catch the football. And if you're able to do that in high school, it really presents a problem for defenses. A lot of defenses are geared to stopping the run. And a lot of offenses are geared to establishing the run. So if you're able to get a passing game going, that's difficult to defend. That's why some of these Group 2 teams like Delran and Bunin, who runs the spread offense, may be difficult matchups for some of these top seeds. West Deptford not having the problem right now with a 20-8 lead and still being able to play pretty good defense. But it's a different look that can cause problems, especially for a West Deptford team. Again, I hate to keep bringing this up, but Rizzo was really able to exploit this team with that 33 points.
On 2nd and 5, it was Murray taking the handoff. No gain, so it'll be 3rd and 5. Good play by Josh Kerr and Mike Carbone, the linebackers, coming up to make the hit there for no gain.
And Rizzo did that to a lot of teams this year. He's a fine quarterback at Audubon.
Larson from the shotgun, takes the snap, has time, fires, completes to Jim McHugh again. Again, another first down via the pass for the Delran Bears, and they are on the move here with 8:09 left to go. Third quarter, trailing by 12, 20-8. It'll be 1st and 10, now in West Deptford territory at the Eagles 43.
You got to give credit to Andy Grob and Vince DeMarco. We already talked about Nick Catalico on that offensive line for Delran, as they are doing a nice job in pass coverage.
Anthony Yanarella, Kyle Gunning as well on that line.
Yeah, we don't leave out those guys.
A little bit undersized, too, when you're talking about this West Deptford defensive line, but they're really holding up strong. Fake with the handoff. They throw a little screen. It's Ryan McFadden. Another first down. This time doing it with some yaks, Shawn. A little yards after the catch there for McFadden. Another first down as Delran continues to move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 30.
You got to give a ton of credit to Coach Miles to come out and put a game plan together that says, we'd like to mix in some runs here and there, but he told me before the game, he says, we're going to be able to dictate whatever the defense gives us. If they're going to, say, we're going to stop the run completely on you, we're going to try and throw over the top on them. And that's what makes them, again, a dangerous team in this Group 2 tournament, because they can do different things.
1st and 10 at the 30. Larson this time under center. Again, a quick pass caught over there on the far sideline. It was McFadden that time on the left sideline making the catch. Good gain, though, 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3. And Shawn, when you're in second and short situations and you're throwing the ball the way Delran's doing it, it's certainly a positive situation for you.
Right. Right now, you have a couple of opportunities here to do some different things. You can go up top and try and get the touchdown now. You can just try and even now run the football for the first down. And again, it kind of loosens everything up in that secondary when you're able to pass the ball. And they kind of sag back a little bit. You can run the ball a little bit more effectively, or at least you would think so.
Quick pitch out to Will Murray. They do run it effectively this time. It is a first down as Murray stretches out across the 20 down to the 19. Should be a first down. We'll see where they mark it. They're going to stop the clock and maybe take a quick look here as your official Hugh Gibson in the white hat takes a look and now decides, you know what? I can't tell. I'm going to measure it.
This one's on me, guys. He says, let's take a look and see what's going on. But Nick Catalico that time throws his man into the ground. That is one large mammal, 315 pounds. And he is one big kid, a real spiritual leader of this team, a real guy who's aggressive and always trying to get the The troop's excited. A good kid. Coach really likes him. Yeah, he lists him at 6'3", 305. He's big.
Just a junior, too, so he'll be back to...
He gained 10 pounds tonight, just to drive over a couple things.
And they're going to say 3rd and inches, as it was just shy of the first down. They need to get beyond the 20. The ball is on the 20. So 3rd and inches for Delran here. 6:32 left to go. They trail it by 12, 20-8 here in the first round of the South Jersey Group 2 tournament, sponsored by the NJSIAA. In motion goes McHugh. Larson under center, takes the snap, hands to Murray, who slams his way across the 20 and does pick up the first down across the 19. So Delran now in the red zone, Shawn, and they had their troubles in the red zone earlier on in this ball game. They do have a touchdown, but it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy. I mean, they're trying to run the football and show some different looks when they get inside the 20, and I think it's working in some ways. In some ways it wasn't working earlier on. But this time they're just trying to double up on Mike Carbone. They get Catalico and Grab on both, on Carbone, and try and drive him out of there to try to gain some yardage and pick up that first down. It works for him.
Robert Bruce is the lone back in the backfield now. Will Murray goes in motion. Larson fakes the handoff, now throws to Murray across the middle, catches it at the 10, across the 5, actually brought down at the 5, but it will be another first down for Delran as they continue to march down the field here. Putting together an effective passing game are the Delran Bears, and there you see Murray heading back to the huddle after the big game.
And nice job of him coming back across his body and able to pull that one in, and that ball was thrown behind the receiver. Now, the one problem about throwing across the middle, and we haven't seen this yet today, is when you do throw it across the middle, you have that chance of the ball getting tipped. When you have a ball thrown behind a receiver over the middle of the field, especially down in this area, everyone's bunched together, you get the tip, you get the interception. That's where you see that. So although it works for you, it also can become a problem if you get that tip pass.
First and goal at the 5. Larson back to pass under some pressure, eludes it, now throws towards the end zone, caught, touchdown, well done by Will Murray, kept his foot in bounds along the side there of the end zone, makes the catch, and Delran impressive in that drive, Shawn, as they march down the field to make it a 20-14 game now with the point after attempt pending.
We don't see a lot of that in Gloucester County. With throwing the ball up and down the field, it just doesn't happen. You see a little bit at Glassboro sometimes when needed with Justin Breaker, but Gloucester County isn't a county where you have too many passing teams. It's more of a running county, a lot of wing T. You got Delsey out on the south end of the county that just runs the football down your throat. Maybe Clearview might be the only school.
Snap to Larson, the throw is batted, and it'll be incomplete. They tried to go for 2 there, and again they had McFadden open in the back of the end zone. He was wide open, standing almost underneath the goalposts, but the ball deflected, as you said, Shawn. That tip ball at the line of scrimmage keeps Delran from adding 2 onto the scoreboard, but 20-14 now the score. It's a one-score game here in the third quarter, 5:26 left to go.
Yeah, and I'm just getting back to that real quick, because Clearview's a team probably in Gloucester County that throws the ball as much as you're going to see Washington Township, a little bit more in Group 4. Gloucester Catholic will sling the ball around. Not too many teams really throw the ball, and this is something that we're not used to seeing. That is a good receiving core that we're seeing tonight for Delran.
Absolutely.
The team that works on it a lot. Larson is doing a nice job of really getting that ball out. A nice quarterback for a program that has had some pretty good quarterbacks over its history.
So Delran tonight kind of made their own mistakes, made a couple of mistakes, Shawn. The interception here early in the third quarter leads to that touchdown, and the blocked punt earlier on as well leads to the other score, to one of the other scores for West Deptford tonight. So the Eagles able to cash in on some Delran mistakes. And Delran, though, certainly showing that they've got some skilled players offensively moving the football on this West Deptford defense.
Well, every time we go down to the coach to say, what's the key to the game, coach? You know, he says, we got to capitalize on the mistakes. You know, the team who makes the most turnovers will probably lose. You know, we get on the bus and be upset about their loss, or you know, just going back to the locker room and wondering, you know, what happened. And that is so true. I mean, even though they say it all the time, that's it. That's the name of the game. Controlling the line of scrimmage, limiting your mistakes, not making the turnovers, the penalties that are going to cost you. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Everything else is gravy in football. If you're able to do those things, you're going to be able to compete in games and keep yourself in a game. And then you're just hoping if the big guys can come across, your playmakers can make plays for you. West Deptford has taken full advantage of the Delran mistakes, and thus they have the 6-point lead.
And there's another mistake there is McFadden kicking off, kicks it out of bounds. It went out of bounds at about the 34, 33, but they'll, of course, on the penalty, they mark it at the 35, so really not much gained in terms of the ball going out of bounds there, but nevertheless, West Deptford takes over 1st and 10 at their own 35.
What about the job?
By 6.
What about the job though Clyde Folsom has done with this program after suffering a couple loss early in the season and suffering an injury to the big-time running back with Jimmy Owens going down. Again, that guy that can take it to 70 yards in one play. Lose a player like that, all the guys that they lost to graduation, and to come back and put themselves in position to be the number 2 seed in the Group 2 playoffs. An outstanding job. But not only him, but his entire coaching staff and those kids that are down there on the sideline. This has been a good season for the West Deptford Eagles. And a season, frankly, that I thought was not lost, but certainly in jeopardy early on. I'll admit it when you think something's going wrong. Well, you're wrong about it.
33-24 loss to Audubon. Certainly, a team that West Deptford has traditionally handles Audubon, right, over the course of the years, and losing by 9 to them early on in a 15-7 win over Haddon Township.
Right, and that's the one where you looked at, you said, 15-7, Haddon Township? I mean, Haddon Township has really struggled to get out of its own way over no offense to them, but it's a program that's really struggled. West Deptford only wins by a touchdown there. They come back and lose the next week to Audubon. We know that they weren't the same team, and frankly, they're not. They're not as talented as some other West Deptford teams, but they found ways to win and are playing well when you want to at the end of the season going into the playoffs.
So 3rd and 3 here. A key play for West Deptford's offense as they run a little pitch. It's Hall. Hall gets across the 40 out of the backfield, but not much there. May have even lost a yard, and will bring up 4th and 4. So the Delran offense does its job. Now the Delran defense does its job, and they're going to get the ball back for its offense here as West Deptford will bring the punting unit on 4th and a little bit more than 3. Not quite 4, but 4th and 3, I guess we'll call it. In the punt is Renaro.
This
back deep, McFadden and McHugh. The MC squared, as Shawn Leary mentioned earlier on. Renaro has plenty of time, gets off a spiral towards
he signaled McHugh for a fair catch. West Deptford held up on the play, and then he starts to run with it. That's going to be a penalty and cost them some yards.
So a little mental error on the part of McHugh is going to cost some yardage for Delran. McHugh, number 3 for Delran, walks away from the rest of his teammates.
You can always go. You can always go with that classic with Chris Farley. When they're being attacked by bees, you just say there was a bunch of bees around me. I had to slide them off. That wasn't waving fair catch. There was bees. Didn't you see all the bees? Run for your lives.
And the coaching staff from Delran coming all the way across the field to try and get the attention of the officials there. The officials still talking it over. They did signal the penalty about the illegal fair catch, but now they're still meeting about things to talk it over.
Penalty is for an illegal fair catch.
And they will march off the yardage now, 5 yards.
They didn't buy the being attacked by bees, apparently.
I guess.
No, invalid fair catch signal on the return team. 5 yards, first down.
So not a terribly huge loss there. 5 yards from the spot of the infraction. So it would have been at about the 35, I guess, was where he ran it back to. So 10 yards is what the net loss is there. But it'll be 1st and 10 now for Delran back at their own 25. Again, trailing by 6, 20-14, 3:14 left to go, 3rd quarter. Backfield is Frederick, who now goes in motion along with Murray. Larson back to pass, throws to the tight end across the middle, incomplete. As he was coming across the field, it was deflected and then almost intercepted there. It was almost picked up by Kerr, I guess.
Well, you can see that he's more comfortable throwing in the middle of the field, Larson. He's had a couple of errant passes to the outside. We saw one where West Deptford came with a blitz. He threw it way over the head of his receiver coming out of the backfield. He had the interception to open this half on the outside part of the field, and that time also thrown behind him to the outside. So a little bit more comfortable throwing it over the middle of the field to see how West Deptford adjusts.
2nd and 10, they line up Wojciechowski, the tight end, as a wide receiver on the near sideline. They throw far sideline to Will Murray, the halfback, comes out of the backfield to make the catch, picks up about 9 as the ball moves up to the 35-yard line of Delran, and it will be 3rd and 1.
That's probably Delran's version of Tamasitis, where you have a guy who's really tough, not afraid of contact. He's going to try and get you some yards in the middle of the field. The fullback that's going to come out of the backfield, absorb some punishment, absorb some hits, but still try and get those extra yards for his team. And again, this is a guy I think that they really believe has really helped this team, not only from the beginning of the season, but has improved as one of the threats to come out of the backfield to catch the football.
3rd and 1. We'll see what the Bears go with here. As Larson is under center, quick throw to the far sideline. It's going to go incomplete. Intended for McFadden over there. Number 2, you see him get up, and it'll be 4th down and 1. And it looks like they're bringing the punting unit on. As their defense was able to hold on that last possession, they're going to leave it in the defense's hands again. Maybe, right, Shawn? You never know, though.
Yeah.
You said some chicanery could be in order.
Could be in order. Could be in order.
Dan Shinichi back to punt, but now a timeout's call as Delran elects to call timeout. Again, 2:09 left
Yeah, they
to
were
go.
missing a guy there.
3rd quarter. It was Kyle Littig, number 6, came running out there. Littig, by the way, a guy who recovered 2 fumbles last week on kickoffs, kick returns against Maple Shade that set up Delran to score a couple of times in that 34-6 win that they picked up last week. And that win really sealed the Bears a playoff spot. They needed that victory last week against Maple Shade to get themselves into this position to play today. I mean, they would have played today anyway, maybe in a consolation
You think
game,
he'd be frothing at the mouth to get out there if he's on special teams, picking up a couple of fumbles. Probably caught napping there. Maybe you thought his team was going to go for it in 4th and 1. So listen, I'm not going out there. We're going for it on this.
He wanted them to go for it. That was
what the coach says. I'm not going out.
Chinichi's going to throw it. He's got a receiver, and it's complete. 1st down on the fake punt as McHugh, number 3, makes the catch again.
Chicanery.
It's the word of the night. 1st down for Delran, and Chinichi gets the completion there. And he's also the backup quarterback for this Delran team. He was the starting quarterback 2 games ago, 3 games ago, because of the injury to Max Larson, who had a left ankle injury. Larson came back last week, played well, 9 for 1,469 yards for Delran. So, you know, they've got 2 guys that are certainly quality quarterbacks, can do the job.
You're right. He's not your average reserve quarterback. This is a guy that can come in and start for this team, and probably can start for a couple teams. He's
Larson from the shotgun under pressure.
Nice job defensively.
Incomplete, intended for McHugh, as the defender got there just about the same time the ball did. I thought he may have even gotten there a step early. I thought maybe we were going to see a flag thrown from our side judge here on the near side, but none thrown, and it will be 2nd and 10.
Nice job by Brian Jackson closing on that play and reaches over the receiver and is able to knock it out. Just a good defensive play by the junior, 5'9", 175.
Officials timeout there, as you see number 37 for the Delran Bears, Tim Frederick, a little trouble with his helmet. He's going to strap it back on, and we're ready to go. Here's 2nd and 10, a minute 54 left to go, 3rd quarter. 20-14 your score, the West Deptford Eagles leading the Delran Bears. But Delran able to move the ball via the air in this ball game. In motion is Jim McHugh coming towards us. Larson from the shotgun will fire deep. He's got a man. It's McFadden who made the catch, and it inbounds at the 31, 32-yard line.
Big play there for Delran, and again, continuing to have success in the air.
This is a West Deptford secondary not coming in with the confidence probably that it needed, knowing this year it did get burned against a good quarterback. You know you're facing a good quarterback. You know, you believe you're up for the challenge, but you got to be thinking in the back of our mind, boy, we got burned before, and it didn't look pretty in the first half.
I'll tell you what, Shawn, the South Jersey record for receptions in a game is 16. I think McFadden or McHugh both could have a shot at breaking that tonight. Larson, under center, fires. It's the tight end, Wojciechowski, again making the catch. A short gain this time as compared to the last few throws, but still they pick up about 7 or 8. And again, Delran really taking advantage of the West Deptford secondary.
Yeah, it looks like June Jones is on the sideline coaching, and Colt Brennan is at quarterback. This looks like we should have nicer weather. We should be in Hawaii for this type of offense.
We should be going to a luau after this game. Not putting the heat on in our cars. 2nd and 4 for Delran. They're going to say 2nd and 3 actually officially on the scoreboard here. Time winding down 3rd quarter, a minute 10 left to go. Larson from the shotgun, misfired. His receiver fell down. It was McHugh who tripped, and the ball was up for grabs. That could have been a dangerous situation for the Delran offense, and we almost could have seen Gordon Holmes do it again and take it to the house.
They kind of slipped up on that play, and ball looked like it was overshot a little bit anyway. There you see Coach Miles instructing his quarterback on the next play, which is a big one. About 3rd and 3.5, maybe 4 yards on this one. Again, that good protection up front has allowed McHugh, McFadden, Wojciechowski, and some of the backs coming out of the backfield to get open. Now they have Murray who comes in and splits out along with the two, McHugh and McFadden.
McHugh and McFadden on the left, the top of your screen. Larson back to pass, looking over the middle though, goes to the tight end Wojciechowski again. Wojciechowski spins his way down inside the 20 to about the 18. And it seems almost, Shawn, like Larson will go to McFadden a couple times in a row, go to McHugh a couple times in a row now, Wojciechowski a couple times in a row. They just keep spreading it around out here, does this Delran offense.
Right. We said in the first half that Larson looked like he was starting to get comfortable into a rhythm. I mean, this is as good as you're going to find a high school quarterback getting into rhythm and finding receivers downfield.
Love to see the numbers on Larson now working from the shotgun. Has time, now the pocket collapses, as does he with the football. However, it is a sack, loss of about 4. We'll have 2nd and 14 as the clock continues to run here, 3rd quarter. Down inside of 25 seconds. You'll have 2nd and, we'll call it about 15 for Delran.
Nice job that time by Teron Sawyer Wilson, who was in coverage on that play, and that's one of the coverage sacks, where guys are doing a great job downfield. Everyone's got their man, and it just forces Larson to pull it down, and that West Deptford defense finally collapses.
You see the clock tick down there at the end of the 3rd quarter. Your score, West Deptford 20, the Delran Bears 14, but Delran on the move with the football just outside the 20-yard line. When we come back to start the 4th quarter here on Comcast, stay with us. Larson under pressure. He hits McFadden across the 10-5 touchdown as McFadden coming across on a little sprint screen. He came from the outside in across the middle, and Larson hit him for a 22-yard touchdown, and Delran has tied the score with the extra point on its way.
Exactly right, just fine, right over the middle. Allowing that defense to come in, you use the aggression against them.
Let's go, Eagles, let's go.
You find your receiver right across the middle field, wide open, and he's able to scamper into the end zone Now this is where Delran has its problems in the kicking game. We've already seen the tricks up the sleeve of Coach Miles, and it's not because this team is looking to try and be a little tricky. They don't have much of a kicking game. It doesn't look bad there, though.
Larson makes the point after and gives Delran a 1-point edge, 21-20. The Bears leading the Eagles here with 11:52 left to go in front of a stunned West Deptford crowd here on the near sideline. Delran has just been able to pass the football, and West Deptford just doesn't seem to have an answer for it.
You could see that in the second quarter that Delran was really moving the football through the air. Again here in the second half, the rhythm, 273 yards passing now for Larson, as he has been virtually on fire, not virtually on fire, but he's been pretty warm out there. He's got the short sleeves working. I mean, the kid's got to be pretty warm out there because his arm is going all over the field. You're finding McHugh and McFadden, Wojciechowski, couple of guys coming out of the backfield, and it's worked where West Deptford now, not only the middle of the field is open, but they're starting to find guys that are coming out of the backfield. Eugene Wojciechowski, the tight end, to roll out and get him a couple of extra yards with that big, powerful tight end. And this is not looking good for the West Deptford secondary, down by a point. They now need to try and regain some momentum, and how they're going to be able to do that is moving the football themselves, getting the running game going. They're big and strong up front. They need those guys in the trenches who's been leaned on pretty much all game by the Delran offense.
Looks like Kerr took the kickoff at the 25, gets across the 40, still on his feet, and a big scrum ensues at the 44. Wow! It took the whole Delran team to scoop him down. The ball came loose. 28 for Delran, ripped it out of there, but they're going to say forward progress was had ended there. Harry Thurer got in there and pulled it away, number 28 for Delran. And that would have been a huge play if Delran was able to go with that turnover. But forward progress stopped at the 44, and that's where West Deptford will take over. Excellent field position here.
Looked like a cartoon. He had like 15,000 pounds on his back.
It was.
He's just still moving.
1st and 10. Eagles at their own 44, trailing by a point. 11:37 left to go. And just tripped up was the ball carrier that time for West Deptford, Steve Mitchell, number 5. So a new man in on the action, trying to get the running game going for the Eagles.
Well, they're going to try to go behind Kyle Simcox, Mike Carbone, some of them guys on the offensive line, trying, Mike Pacitti, the center, Flannery, and Jerry Pacitti. They need to be able to try and establish or reestablish that line of scrimmage and use some time of possession themselves.
Go to Hall again, going through.
Just brought down by Gambone. Gambone got him by the shoelaces.
Got across the 50 to the 48 of Delran. It'll be 3rd and about 2 here, but you're right, these last 2 plays for West Deptford, both running backs just tripped up, like you said, by the shoelaces almost. It's looked as both of them almost broke for big gains. But it brings up 3rd and 2 here. A big play for the Delran defense, a big play for the West Deptford offense. They don't want to give the ball back to Delran this quickly, and they won't, as it's a 1st down and much more, crashing across the Delran 40 for a 1st down. It was Hall that time, Kadeem Hall. We haven't seen much of him here in the second half, Shawn, as Delran's really controlled the clock with that long drive, that long scoring drive.
With Wojciechowski and Larson, when you're down, you go to your seniors. West Deptford's coming back with theirs. With Simcox and Carbone, they say we're going to run behind these 2 guys on the right side of our offensive line to start picking up some 1st downs and regain control of the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to keep it on the ground again on 1st and 10, and they get the ball down towards the 30, maybe the 29. It's going to be close to 1st down yards. Looks like a pickup of 9 yards for Hall again.
It's kind of interesting to see these 2 teams. Delran comes out and says, we'll see if you can stop our passing game. West Deptford now, conversely, is saying, we're going to see if you can stop our run game. We're just going to play power football and go behind our big guys and see if you can stop us with whatever back that we can put back there.
And that was actually a 10-yard gain for Hall, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 29 of Delran. So West Deptford comes out. Guns blazing here, getting this running game going once again. Hall stripped up, the ball's loose, fumbled, and it's recovered by Delran. Are you kidding me? The Delran Bears have gotten the football back again. It looks like it's number 55
Rick Gambone, the outside linebacker, just in the right place at the right time as that ball popped loose from Hall, and it will be Delran's offense taking to the field once again.
It looked like he got spun around and just lost control of his body, and then when he came down, lost the football. Gambone, trailing on the play, is able to jump on it, and a tough break for West Deptford where you started to regain some momentum on that line of scrimmage. You give it back to Delran here, and now you just got to kind of dig in again.
The turnovers were the big key in the first half. The block punt, the interception leading to 2 scores for West Deptford. Now a turnover here the other way. Delran gets the ball. They elect to keep it on the ground there on 1st and 10 from their own 21. So it'll be 2nd and 10. It looks like no gain there on the carry.
Now let's see how comfortable Coach Miles is with this lead. They have the 1-point lead. You try to get to the ground and try to eat some clock here with a 1-point lead. You know that West Deptford has a pretty good kicking game. We're narrow now. Let's think about the kicking games. Delran really doesn't have much of a kicking game to speak of. West Deptford may be equal to that because Renaro has been limping around. They do have Richie, who looks like he's capable of booting one through the uprights.
2nd and 11. They're going to say a loss of 1 there. Larson goes back to pass, firing far side. Oh, and he just threw it over the head of the receiver on the far side, Jim McHugh. Had him open, but just missed him.
Find one weakness in Larson's game tonight. It's been the throws to the outside. Most of them have been high and overshot. That time again, a little high to the outside. Now a big 3rd down for West Deptford.
Larson 22 for 34 tonight, 273 yards, the 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. One of the local newspaper reporters on the scene helping us out there.
From the Burlington
Burlington County Times.
Give him a shout out for helping us out.
3rd and 10. Delran has gotten a lot of big gains for 1st downs tonight via the pass. See what they can do here. 3rd and 10. Larson, pocket collapsing, and it will collapse on top of him. Sacked is Larson, down back inside the 15 at the 12. And Delran will have to punt here, and it's going to be excellent field position for West Deptford here when they take over after this punt.
And I don't want to get too cliche-ish or talk. Part of a champ, and that's what West Deptford is. They know how to win playoff games. You give up the fumble, you give up the lead. So what you expect the way Larson's been able to throw the ball that they're going to still be effective through the air. West Deptford's defense rises to the occasion. Now gives himself a chance with what should be good field position.
Shute quickly gets that punt away. It is a short one. It comes down to the 40-yard line, so about a 36-yard punt, I guess, from Shinichi. It was almost blocked there. It's number 5 for West Deptford. Steve Mitchell was coming hard, but couldn't quite get the hand up in time. But West Deptford, outstanding field position here in the 4th quarter. 8:07 left to go, trailing by a point. They will take over at the Delran 40.
They had tremendous success running to the right side of that offensive line behind Barbone and Simcox. Steve Flannery also over there.
Handoff, it's going to be Mitchell, and he is going to run down inside the 15 towards the 10. A big gain for West Deptford. Actually, it was not Mitchell, it was number 2, Thomasitis, the sophomore, coming up with a big play. And it just seems like West Deptford just recycles back, so they've got a ton of guys to give the ball to.
I see why Chappie loves this guy. Not only will he absorb a hit to the inside, but he has a tremendous burst of speed to the outside. Once he got through that their defensive line, he cut to the outside, was able to put the ball into his right end to protect the football, and a nice job all around by the sophomore.
1st and 10 at the 11. Now it's Kerr who's going to barrel his way into the end zone. Kerr with the power. You saw the speed of Thomasitis, now the power of Kerr from 11 yards out, and West Deptford regains the lead. It was a short-lived lead for Delran, leading 21-20, but now West Deptford back in front, 26-21.
Kerr's had himself a good football game. He's just playing the power game.
West Deptford likely will go for 2 here now as they lead just by 5, again 26-21. The kicker, Renaro, we see him down on the sidelines. He is not on the field, so West Deptford will go for 2 here as the quarterback Hackney out there on the field talking things over with his teammates. They will go for 2 here, but it still will won't put the game out of reach, so to speak. It won't be a 2-score game. Even if they do get 2, it'll still be a 7-point game. So certainly lots of strategy, lots of interesting plays left in this ball game, Shawn. This has been a great one here in the first round of South Jersey Group 2. Some people may have thought it was going to be easy for West Deptford. Certainly it has not been.
No, not at all. Delran matches up well with West Deptford, being able to pass the football like they did. I think Coach Folsom knew that. And he said, this is a tough football game. This is going to be a tough team to beat. And he knew what Larson was capable of. He knew what the wide receivers were capable of. And he thought and he expected a dogfight. He did not think this game would be easy at all. And of course, it's coach. You know, the coach is always going to say that.
Shawn, you look at Delran's schedule. I mean, Burlington Township, Bishop Eustace, Florence, Camden Catholic, Holy Cross. 5 teams that are all in the playoffs that they played.
And they beat a Florence team, not to mention, who had, what, 52 or something like that?
58, I think, consecutive wins. Yeah.
So this is a team that's beat some good football teams, and it's some teams who are now still playing in November.
Absolutely.
A lot of playoff teams on that schedule.
Yeah,
So
at least 5.
Playoff tested by many of those teams that you mentioned.
So, big play here for West Deptford. They will go for 2 after the touchdown by Kerr, the 11-yard run. Now it's a 2-point conversion opportunity. Fake the handoff. Hackney's going to keep it himself, and he is in for the score. Good play call for the West Deptford Eagles, and well executed by Hackney. Gave the fake handoff and then took off the other way. Good blocking up front. Found his way into the end zone.
Nice job by that young man. He's putting his head down, forced himself into the end zone, and that could be a very important 2-point conversion when this game is said and done. Again, Delran with an average at best kicking game. If they do score, we'll have to boot it through the uprights, and that's not a guarantee.
Looking ahead and just thinking about one thing in terms of overtime, Delran has played 1 overtime game this year. They did beat Burlington Township, a playoff team. West Deptford has not played any overtime ball games this year, so something to think about as Delran will receive now the kickoff following the West Deptford score. West Deptford picking up the 8 points there, 6 for the touchdown, the 2-point conversion good as well, as Kerr and Hackney combine to get West Deptford back in front in this one.
There's so many advantages that you see in this game for the offense and the defenses. For West Deptford, you know, Delran doesn't have a lot of depth on his teams, although it has a lot of numbers. They don't have a lot of depth of guys who are ready to play varsity football and playoffs, especially during this time of the year where you're going up against a pretty strong West Deptford team. So as the game evolves, you know, that the defensive line can wear down and advantage West Deptford. However, you've seen the Delran advantage where they're able to move the ball through the air and take advantage of some holes in that West Deptford secondary.
Kickoff is a ground ball. It will be picked up by Murray. Murray gets across the 30, tried to break a tackle. He was going to break free, but West Deptford would have none of it as a couple of players for the Eagles in there on the tackle.
Big Steve Flannery, 6'2", 230-pound senior, wrapping him up.
Gordon Holmes in there as well. Holmes with the interception return for the touchdown. It was big, put West Deptford ahead to start this third quarter. They were up 20-8 at one point. Delran bringing off 13 unanswered points to take a 21-20 lead, but West Deptford has come back to jump in front again at 28-21 here with 7:42 left to go in the ball game. Larson back to pass across the middle of the tight end, can't quite get it. Pass fell a little bit short. It'll be 2nd and 10. Delran with the ball at their own 32.
Yeah, that's on Frank Paolini, a defensive back. He's 5'9", 170. He's a senior. He comes up on the play and he at least puts pressure on the receiver, and that doesn't give Larson an open receiver downfield. He has to make more of a perfect pass on that, and Paolini just coming up kind of disrupts what's going on in the middle of that field, and you expect that now with the adjustments made at halftime is for West Deptford to close a little bit more into that middle of the field, get the safeties to push up. That should put one-on-one coverage for your corners up.
Larson with Frederick in the backfield, fakes the handoff, now completes to McFadden across the 40, fumble.
McHugh was able to cover up. McHugh recovered the fumble.
So MC squared again, Shawn, equals positive yards for the Delran Bears. They pick up 9 there, almost get the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1 for Delran. So McHugh in the right place at the right time for Delran, keeping this drive alive. Could have been a devastating turnover for the Bears had they lost the football there, but they keep it 3rd and 1 now.
Very interesting play call here. You got the big quarterback, shortest distance, A to B. Wouldn't be surprised if they try and sneak it in.
Larson, 6'2", 215, is under center. Has worked from the shotgun plenty tonight as well. He's back to pass, connects with Murray at midfield. It gets across midfield where he's finally brought down.
I told you Larson would be able to pick up the first down.
Interesting play call, though, there for Delran. Absolutely. You know, you think that 3rd and that short, you might just keep it on the ground, but kind of a West Coast offense style of play for Delran in a way. Shawn, kind of reminiscent of the way the Eagles do it when they need short yards. That, you know, a short pass is as good as a handoff.
Robert DeBruce coming out of the backfield, wide open. And again, right, sure, yeah, West Coast offense.
And when I say Eagles, I mean Philadelphia Eagles, not West Deptford Eagles. We certainly have to clarify that tonight. Eagles-Bears makes you think some fog might roll into this game at some point, too, though. 1st and 10 for the Delran Bears at midfield. 6:09 left in this ball game. Oh, across the middle, it's connected to McHugh. McHugh's gotten loose across the 30, the 20, to the 10. He's going to score. What a play for the Delran Bears as Jim McHugh goes 50 yards for the touchdown. And Max Larson now has got to be about 350 yards passing tonight. What a game by this Delran quarterback.
That was a precision pass. Terrific concentration by McHugh to haul that in. I mean, they defensed it fairly well. That was just an outstanding pass by the senior quarterback, hooking up with his senior receiver.
Some kind of game tonight here in the South Jersey Group 2 quarterfinal. Point after attempt. It will be Max Larson to kick it. It is up. It is good. It is a tie ball game here with 5:58 left to go, 4th quarter. Wow, you couldn't ask for more in this ball. I mean, this has been a great football game.
So, Delran, you see this game has been maxed out. That was a little corny, but I threw it out there. I'll throw them out there. Once in a while, they'll be good.
I'll give you that courtesy laugh, too, once in a while. I'll give you that courtesy laugh, too.
I appreciate it. See, Rob Chris sometimes, he doesn't give me that courtesy laugh. In fact, he'll pick on me when I say something stupid. But I appreciate the courtesy laugh.
I appreciate stupidity, so it works well, Shawn. But, wow, what a fantastic football game. 28-28, 5:58 left to go. Delran now will kick off to West Deptford. And it seems like, Shawn, each team has kind of answered now here in this 4th quarter. Delran took the lead 21-20. West Deptford answered, gets the touchdown in the 2-point conversion. Delran comes back, bang, they tie it back up. This has been an entertaining 4th quarter.
Well, I just love these big battles, and I always say, you know, it's almost like a fight boxing, where you find your opponent's weakness and you keep going to it. And right now, you know, that's what Delran has done. You know, they found a weakness in West Deptford. They're just keeping on with the jab, or they're keeping on with a blow to the ribs, or something that they're seeing the spot where it's an opening, and they keep going to it. West Deptford, conversely, doing the same thing with its running game. You know, when they needed the touchdown, they said, listen, we're going to try to get this thing on the ground and start moving the football. And they were able to do that.
Kickoff taken. Looks like Kadeem Hall across the 35. He's upended at the 39-yard line. So West Deptford will start in their own territory this time. 1st and 10, 5:51 left to go. Certainly a lot of football left to be played here in this tie ball game. 28 apiece between Delran, the 7th seed in South Jersey Group 2, and West Deptford, the 2 seed. These two teams trying to advance to play the winner of Cinnamints and Burlington Township next week. That Cinnamints and Burlington Township game going on tonight as well.
Remember, if you're watching on Channel 5, we're also on demand now, so you can go on demand and find us. If you're watching it on demand, well, then you can watch it again on demand. But you have to do that because you already went to on demand.
Kadeem Hall.
A new wrinkle that we have now here with Channel 5 and also on Comcast being shown throughout South Jersey.
Fantastic opportunity for South Jersey high school football fans to see some extra games. That is especially, you know, fans of the Delran Bears, who I guess, you know, otherwise might not be on. So we're glad you're joining us for this one. Gain of 3 for Kadeem Hall. 2nd and 7 for West Deptford. 17, 16, 15 left to go as the clock runs. Handoff this time. A little counter play. It's close to first down yardage.
Looked like the yellow paint on the middle of the field tripped him up. He picked up some good yardage, but had plenty more if he wasn't able or didn't stumble there.
It'll be 3rd and 1 for West Deptford here.
West Deptford crowd believes he deserved a few more yards. I don't know. I thought maybe it was a decent spot.
Yeah, where the knee went down, and it did go down back there. He did fall across about the 50, but the knee went down initially back there
like
about the 48. Right.
Where if you're not touched, you can continue to gain yardage until you're touched. In high school and college, it's where your knee goes down.
3rd and 1. They'll keep it on the ground again, and they will pick up first down yards across midfield, actually right on the center stripe. It'll be 1st and 10 for West Deptford. And again, Shawn, you said it. Delran found a weakness. They kept throwing the ball. West Deptford, they've had success running the ball, and they're just jamming it into the line time and time again here in this 4th quarter.
Whatever works for you, you keep going to it until Delran finds a way to stop it. Until that time, you just keep going to it. So I'm going to take our strength and keep going to it until Delran, at least they find something, find a way to slow us down.
Mike Pacitti, the center for West Deptford. His snap to Hackney. The quick pitch, it'll be a gain of about 4, maybe about 4 there for West Deptford. It was Hall again. It'll be 2nd and 6 now into Delran territory. Clock continues to run as the ball did not go out of bounds. It's 3:55 and counting here in the 4th quarter.
Sometimes where teams can find trouble as well is where they try to outthink themselves, and where coaches will say, "Listen, I know we're doing this well, but let me try and mix it up here and try to catch them napping." Well, sometimes that doesn't work for you, and you have a pass that's picked off. And right now, Clyde Folsom just going to his strength, and that's that big offensive line, the backs that are coming out and being able to get some positive yardage.
Hackney back to pass. Has some room. Now he will keep it himself. Picks up about a yard, and that's all. A little bit of good coverage there from Delran, and that's what made Hackney pull it down and keep it.
What a nice job by Hackney, a senior. You're sitting back there, you're dying for the chance. You see the opposing quarterback throwing the ball over the field. You want your chance to throw the football, but he makes the smart play. He doesn't. That's a perfect example of a senior being smart with the football. And Hackney, maybe not getting the credit as a real good passer because they don't throw it up as much as they need to. Right there just shows the experience at a quarterback position when you need to be smart with the football. And although it's not a pass or a throw, that's an outstanding play by the young man of not forcing the football.
Staying within the game plan, and it brings up, after that 1-yard gain, 3rd and 5 here at the Delran 45. Clock running with 2:40 left to go now. Flag on the play there. Applause on the Delran sideline. Perhaps a false start against West Deptford here. There you see, of course, that's the kicker for West Deptford. That is Scott Renaro, and you see that limp he's got working. I don't know, it seems like that started right after the opening kickoff of the 2nd half. And, we had a long halftime break, Shawn. A real long halftime break, it seemed, here tonight. And you come out, and it's cold. Maybe he cramped up, and he just hasn't been able to get loose.
I'm not too sure exactly what's going on down there, but he is visibly limping, and that's a bad sign for West Deptford in a 28-28 game with just under 3 minutes.
5-yard penalty on false start makes it 3rd and 10. Hackney keeps it, and he's got some room going to the far side. Kind of a broken play that he's turned into a big gain, a gain of almost 25 yards as he's kept inbounds at the 26. So it'll be about a 24-yard gain for Hackney, and another big play from these two teams. They're just slugging it out tonight, Shawn.
Again, a heady play by the quarterback, not forcing the throw, going to tuck it down and use his legs to pick up the first down. Terrific job by Hackney again.
Now approaching 2 minutes. Here you see the kicker starting to get loose, Renaro. I don't know that you want the game to come down to a gimpy kicker. Under 2 minutes left to go. West Deptford's going to keep running the football, though, and they have had success. And here's a successful run. It's going to be a touchdown. Wow. 26 yards on the play. It is a touchdown for the West Deptford Eagles.
and they go back in front again, 34-28.
Yeah, just a little too strong up front. Amasitis able to just pull that down, and again, he has just a terrific burst of speed coming through. Once he gets through that offensive line and that defense, so he's got a good burst, and then he's just following the big guys into the end zone. And now Delran going to be forced, all important extra point here is Delran going to be forced again to have Larson lead them down the field and score to even up this game.
So Tomasitis gets the big touchdown. The extra point attempt is up. It is good. So it is a 7-point edge now for the Delran Bears, 35-28. They lead this ball game, but you know, is this going to be one of those games, Shawn, where the team that gets the ball last is the team that wins the game? So it's been that kind of offense tonight.
It's possible. There's still plenty of time for Larson. A minute 46 on the clock.
There's Renaro, the kicker. Still, you see that limp as he talks things over with head coach Clyde Folsom. The discussion now is, okay, how do you want me to kick it?
Yeah.
Am I kicking it into the ground? Am I going to try to kick it as far as I can? What do you want me to do?
To me, and I'm not one that knows limps that well, but it looks like he might be favoring his left leg. So if he's favoring his left leg, that's his non-kicking leg, and maybe that's just bothering him. But the way he's walking, it's almost like even a groin problem. I mean, he seems like he's stretching it. That looks like a groin problem. That's tough, especially in cold weather. Oh, man, a groin problem could be not only troubling for this game, but that's something that can last you a couple of weeks.
And you remember David Akers for the Eagles a couple years ago. After that groin injury, he kicked that winning field goal for the Eagles. He was crying, and people were making fun of him, like, how could you cry? You're a kicker. Come on. And there you see 35 push-ups. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot for anybody.
I don't know about that one at the end right there. That is.
I don't know. Those aren't legitimate.
Got a little bit down, a little further.
That being said, I don't think I could do 4 right now. So, so kudos to the West Deptford cheerleaders for their 35 push-ups and their team with 35 points, leading 35-28 here. But still a minute 46 left to go. And we've seen that Delran offense strike quickly. They're going to try and kick this one deep. A little confusion amongst the Delran receivers, but it is brought down by Tim Frederick, and he gets across the 30 to the 32. He and looked like Ryan McFadden kind of both in the mix there, trying to get the ball. Everybody wants the ball at this stage of the game, though, Shawn. If you're a football player, you want the ball in your hands. This is a clutch time.
Including the West Deptford secondary. You know, the way they've been burned throughout this game. To be able to silence Max Larson and Delran and pick a ball off here would be certainly beneficial to the West Deptford hopes of winning and going back to the South Jersey Group 2 finals and of course to the second round. But for Larson, he has been unstoppable. And this is a guy that can move the ball down the field.
Delran with 2 timeouts left. They will throw the football here. It's complete to Will Murray. Murray will pick up about 4 or 5 yards and scamper out of bounds, so the clock will stop. A minute 31 left to go. So the sidelines are the Delran Bears' friends. They've got to use them to kind of be able to conserve those timeouts.
That's right. They try to get the ball to the sidelines. They still got plenty of time, though. They get the ball to bounce. Stops the clock at a minute 31. But they still have plenty of time to be able to move the field. Of course, the clock will stop to move the chains as well. So you have some different ways that you can stop the clock from moving.
So 2nd and 4 now after the pickup of 6. Larson in the shotgun, snaps, fires. Almost picked off. It was Holmes again who was there, and it was almost the same distance too, Shawn. The interception return he had last time was 43 yards. He got his hands on this one at the 42.
This guy who has a nose for the football. Holmes was the guy against Haddon Township that picked off a pass to seal the game against the Hawks. Also threw a touchdown on a halfback pass in that game. His best game of the year. year.
That was just a little timing pattern that Larson went back and threw it, and McFadden was just running towards the sidelines.
Also something to keep in mind, again, the out patterns have been the problem for Larson. He's struggled a little bit more to the outside than he has in the middle of the field, but the sidelines, again, are his friend trying to get the ball out of bounds.
Again from the shotgun on 3rd and 4, pulls it down, now throws, incomplete across the middle as the tight end Wojciechowski got free but couldn't make the connection, and it will be 4th and 4 with 1:22 left to go.
Give credit to the West Deptford defense and also Clyde Folsom and company of closing down the middle of the field and forcing the ball to the outside. They've done a much better job of making the adjustments here after the half, and that's frustrated Larson slightly in the second half. And again, the pressure coming up. When you get a little bit of pressure and force him and disrupt the timing and the rhythm of the offense, you're going to be able to succeed more times than not.
Linebacker Josh Kerr, number 32, begging the fans to get into this one, and the West Deptford faithful respond on their feet here down in front of us. And timeout called by Delran here on this critical 4th and 4 here at their own 38.
Coach Miles wants a couple seconds to think about this one and get the best play possible to his football team to try and pick up 5 yards.
And the interesting
one of the things you have to make sure is you get to the sticks, get beyond the sticks, pick up the first down.
Interesting thing, too, Shawn, one of the Delran coaches actually came down. He was up in the press box up above us, and he came down, and he's onto the field now, and he's on the field now, I should say, with Miles. I don't know if it's his offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator that came down there, but one of the coaches for Delran from up top came down after that West Deptford score to get down on the field and kind of get into the mix there.
Probably wants to make sure that we're getting both minds together and seeing what they're both seeing from that sideline.
Yeah.
For this final drive.
So here it is, 4th and 4th, 1:22 left to go. The West Deptford fans on their feet down below us. Max Larson works from the shotgun. Takes the snap. Receivers are deployed. He lofts one up towards the tight end. He can't get it. No flags, and it will be incomplete. And West Deptford has hung tight here with 1:14 left to go. Delran with just 1 timeout left. So it looks like West Deptford can just take a knee a couple of times, and they're going to seal this one up, Shawn.
And Larson wanted the flag. He thought there was a hold on his tight end, not allowing him to get to the outside and get open. But that was just good coverage downfield. Everyone was covered. West Deptford has made adjustments here in halftime, although they've given up some big yardage in the air continuously to Max Larson, especially here late in the game. They've made adjustments in the middle of the field.
And Wojciechowski, number 11 for Delran, still talking to the referee and pulling on his shirt saying, hey, I got pulled. No call, though, and West Deptford will be able just to take a knee a couple of times here with 1:14 left to go, and they will move on in the Group 2 South Jersey
I don't think they're able to take a knee yet. Yeah, they're going to have to run the
keep
ball
it on the ground. That was Kerr picking up about 6, and Pete Miles calls timeout. That's the last timeout for Delran. So with 1:07 left, the Bears need to get a couple of stops here, and I guess they still might be able to get the football back one time.
See how that timing breaks down for them, but they had to use the time out there on 4th down to decide what play they were going to call.
Right.
They thought it was the right play. West Deptford does a nice job on defense, and you got to give credit to the Eagles of being in the crunch time, although they've given up plenty of yards through the air and allowed Max Larson and company to move the ball more than effectively downfield by passing over top. But the defense, when it counted, the West Deptford defense survived.
Clyde Folsom out there talking to his boys, just trying to get things shored up, what they need to do here to seal this one up. It'll be 2nd and 5 when play resumes after the timeout. 1:07 left to go. West Deptford leading 35-28. And if West Deptford does indeed pull this one out, as they should do, we will be back here next week as West Deptford will take on their next opponent in the postseason. Will be the winner of the Cinnaminson Burlington Township game So regardless, it'll be a Burlington County foe yet again in the postseason for West Deptford. They do take a knee. Clock continues to run.
Anybody who thought maybe this game would be heavily in favor of West Deptford, I guess they see now that there's some pretty good football teams up in Burlington County. I don't think anybody who knew a lot about this Delran program and also the football that goes on up there thought anything differently about this game being a close one.
So now 3rd and 6. They lose a yard by taking a knee. 33 seconds left to go. Hackney will take the snap and take a knee again with under 25 seconds left. So that'll do it because the play clock will not be reset.
Entertaining football.
West Deptford wins it 35-28 in an outstanding football game here at West Deptford High School tonight. Delran came in, Shawn, with a record of 5-3, but really put on an offensive show in the air tonight. Max Larson throwing for about 350 yards in this ball game. But it's West Deptford's resilience, their defense, their hard running made the difference in this ball game.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Larson and the receivers on this team, and that's a pretty good bunch down there. But the West Deptford offensive line, in the end, winning in the trenches, again, wins football games, and that's where West Deptford was able to grind it out, wore down that defensive line, took advantage of that, and kind of hold on. You know, when you're able to throw the football, that's fun and that's great. Playing good defense, running the football effectively, and winning in the trenches is what ultimately wins. But take nothing away from what Delran and Coach Miles brought. They tried to exploit what they thought was the weakness in West Deptford, and they were able to do that. I think it was a terrific game plan by Coach Miles. You know, West Deptford's not a team you can easily run against, and they were able to do what they were able to do by going over the top and using something that they've worked on throughout the season. You can't just game plan against one thing. When you have those two things, boy, that's effective.
And Delran got down early, Shawn, 13-0. Could have packed the 10.
Very resilient.
It was kind of ugly there to start out. They're down 13-0 right off the bat, but they fought their way back. Actually got a lead. We're leading 21-20. But West Deptford comes back with a couple of scores in the 4th quarter, and your final score 35-28 West Deptford.
And one of the things is, you know, that bus ride home is going to be really long for Delran because you start thinking back at the turnovers and all those things that happened, the miscues that kept you from winning this football game, and that really hurts, especially for the seniors. You have to be able to feel for those young men, but they have nothing to hang their hats on. This was a terrific football game, and this is what makes all these football fans get excited about the sport. What an outstanding and entertaining game.
Interesting too, Delran, their last game that they have left on their schedule, their annual Thanksgiving game, will be against Cinnaminson. West Deptford could be playing Cinnaminson. We don't know the score from that game yet tonight, but Cinnaminson and Burlington Township. We'll see what we can hear down there in the huddle.
As even as they can get, man. I tell you what, we dunked down in the 4th quarter, had 2 great defensive stands. We don't normally present a game ball, man, but I'm going to tell you a guy that's really carried us down the stretch and allowed our seniors to play another home game in the playoff. It's just unbelievable effort in the last 4 games. Jeremy Hackney, stand up. Hey guys, congratulations. I mean, what can we say? It's a tremendous win. It's a great win. Everybody played hard. They're a very good passing football team. We knew that. Right? They gave us a multitude of formations. We're there, but they just executed plays. But offensively, we did what we had to, man. The last 2 drives, just stick in the end zone, Kenny Comisitis, guard down on regular sweep. Hey, #1 play we put in the summer, right? That's a football game. Great win, man. A lot of class. Hey, let's celebrate, man. Bring it. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Comcast Channel 5 brings you in the huddle.
Job. Nice job by the crew here tonight for Comcast, getting you into the huddle, the victory huddle. Nice job by the truck and everyone down there on the field.
Absolutely.
I don't think we could have said it any better than that. I mean, that's exactly what it boiled down to.
No, but you know what? It was interesting, Shawn, because, you know, Hackney was the guy there at the end. He made a couple of big plays, running the football, smart plays, as you pointed out, and that led to that touchdown. That was the difference, really. Those 2 smart plays that he made, and, of course, that one big 24-yard gain on 3rd and whatever it was, 3rd and long there, that got that first down, put him in the position to score that winning touchdown.
Same thing they'll need to do next week. run the football, be effective, and continue to play, this back here, that back here, Hackney here. They need to do it because they don't have the home run hitter. Do it methodically downfield.
For our director, Stan Ritter, everybody on our Comcast Channel 5 crew, and my partner, Shawn Leary, I'm Mike Shute. Thanks for watching. The final score, West Deptford 35, Delran 28. We'll see you back here next week as West Deptford will play host to a semifinal game in the South Jersey Group 2 football playoffs. See you then. Bye-bye.